Not bad. Just from the first eye alone, Master Yi had given Zhao Feng such a statement. Why? Rage surged in Zhao Linlong's heart. His cultivation was the highest and his performance had only gotten a SOSO. Zhao Feng did nothing and he had received, not bad. Zhao Feng. This is Master Yi from the Guanjuan province and he represents the Guanjuan palace to come here to choose a genius from the Zhao sect. You better perform well. This is your chance to repent for your sins. Zhao Tiansong, the head of the sect, managed to squeeze out a smile, but his voice was somewhat stale. Repent for my sins? Zhao Feng laughed coldly in his heart, but he didn't bother to explain. This one sees Master Yi. Zhao Feng respectfully bowed. Master Yi nodded his head and signaled for him to performance. Under everyone's eyes, Zhao Feng took in a breath to calm himself down. His calmness far surpassed others. Even Zhao Linlong or Zhao Yufei couldn't be compared to him. Even Zhao Feng didn't realize that a weird aura was released from his left eye into his body, and that at every critical moment, he would remain calm. Surprise was found in Master Ye's eyes as he realized that this youth wasn't simple. Flamin' Metal Fist. Zhao Feng's first punch was his most familiar skill. Core-ranked martial art? The geniuses and elders present were shocked. Zhao Feng's core-ranked fist skill had surpassed the max level and it had surpassed the original skill. Not bad. Master Yi once again nodded his head. Zhao Feng kept on punching and unconsciously, he merged the one with the heaven's aura into it. Zhao Feng's simple punch seemed to contain a flaming dragon. The moment the fist was out, it seemed like he put his power all into one point perfectly. It was as if that simple punch contained a deeper insight. Core-ranked martial art. It's not simple to train it to this level. The elders nodded their heads, but they didn't put it to their hearts. No matter how special it was still a core-ranked martial art and wasn't comparable to peak-ranked martial arts. Zhao Linlong had disdain in his eyes. Good. A voice of extreme joy echoed in the room. Shock and excitement shone in Master Ye's eyes. The voice had come from him. Good. Zhao Tiansong and Zhao Linlong almost died from choking on their own breaths. They seemed to have seen a ghost. The earlier reviews made them understand how hard it was for him to give a good review. Core-ranked martial art. How the fuck is this possible? Zhao Linlong almost didn't explode. From their level, they just couldn't see what was so special about Zhao Feng's core-ranked fist skill. Ha 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 ha. It looks like the genius I wanted is you. Master Yi let out a long laugh. His attitude was completely different from before. Thanks for your review. Zhao Feng was also stunned. Originally, he wanted to start from his core-ranked martial art, then build up to Angry Dragon Fist and then Star Finger. But when he was performing the core-ranked martial art, he had somehow merged the two together. In my eyes, you are the true genius. Master Yi walked down from his seat. You are the true genius. As he said that, Zhao Linlong's face turned extremely ugly. Why? Unwillingness screamed in his heart. Zhao Feng had gotten a better review from just a core-ranked martial art. How could he be willing? My name is Yi Linyun. Maybe we can be friends later on. Master Yi seemed to be extremely respectful of Zhao Feng. The scene made Zhao Tiansong and the elders drop their jaws. Why would a 9th-rank martial master try and become friends with such a youth? Even Zhao Feng himself stunned. The only reason he could think of was the one with the heaven's aura. It was confirmed that if Xian Wuhing didn't disappear, he would also be taken in by Master Yi. Master Yi, you're too nice. Zhao Feng didn't know how to express himself. He didn't dare to treat Master Yi as his friend. This was the same as an ant and an elephant being friends. Hee, Zhao Feng, you're too humble. One day you'll realize you will have the right to do so. Yi Lingyun shook his head while smiling. At this moment, he didn't seem strict at all. The scene made the others extremely confused. Zhao Linlong was especially so. He was extremely furious. Zhao Feng, are you willing to join the Guanjuan Corps? Yi Linyun asked. Willing or unwilling? Aren't these just useless words? Furthermore, Yi Linyun's attitude was just too nice. Zhao Feng spoke deeply. My goal was to leave Sun Feather City anyway and experience the outside world, so I am willing. Entering the Guanjuan Palace didn't conflict with his goals. The scale of Guanjuan City far surpassed Sun Feather City, and it was a wider stage for him. Good. If you work hard, maybe you'll even receive personal lessons from Lord Guanjuan. Yi Linyun smiled. Lord Guanjuan? Zhao Feng immediately thanked him. Although he lived in Sun Feather City, he had still heard of Lord Guanjuan's legends because he was the highest dictator in a 10,000-mile radius and he had reached an extremely high level in martial arts. Even Sun Feather City, the Zhao sect, were under his control. The Zhao sect didn't have any status or right to even try and flatter these people. At this moment, Zhao Feng clearly felt the envious eyes from Zhao Linlong and Zhao Han. He was able to enter the Guanjuan Palace and he had the chance to receive personal lessons from Lord Guanjuan. How could they not be jealous? Zhao Han and Zhao Qi could be thrown aside as they knew the difference between Zhao Feng and them. They had all seen the performance of Zhao Feng that day on the summit, therefore they knew that they had no right to rebuke him. But there was still one person, and that was Zhao Linlong. Jealously, unwillingness, and envy burned in his heart. Why? Why? In terms of cultivation, he was top amongst the younger generation. In terms of martial arts, he had touched the boundaries of partial holy martial arts. Even if there still was difference between them, he wouldn't watch himself be beaten just by Zhao Feng's simple core ranked punches. I disagree. The anger within Zhao Linlong's heart finally exploded. Silence fell within the room. Linlong. No. Zhao Tiansong and the others tried to stop him. Although they were confused of why Yi Linyun chose Zhao Feng, they didn't dare question him. Why do you disagree? A smile of mockery appeared on Yi Linyun's face. Give me a chance. I'll use my own strength to prove that I am stronger than him. Isn't that the rule of this world, that only the strong can make choices? Zhao Linlong stared at Zhao Feng and erupted his aura of the 6th rank. If it was a normal 4th or 5th ranker, they would have been scared, but Zhao Feng didn't seem to be affected at all even though his cultivation was suppressed. Only the strong can make rules. I'll give you one chance. If you can beat Zhao Feng, you can also enter the Guanjuan Palace. Yi Linyun laughed as he turned to Zhao Feng. I've only just seen your core-ranked martial arts, and this will let me see your combat abilities. Yes, sir. Zhao Feng nodded his head. The two faced off in the room. Ever since Zhao Feng had entered the main branch, the two had never fought. This was their first time fighting one another. Zhao Feng, I will use my strength to prove that I have more right than you to enter Guanjuan Palace. Looking at the scene, the other youngsters were full of expectations. One of them was the top genius of the Zhao family, while the other was once the top genius of the Zhao family. One was the most talented in Sun Feather City. One had the highest cultivation amongst the younger generation within Sun Feather City. This was the first time the two would meet in battle. Spatial Cloud Finger. Zhao Linlong exclaimed as he pointed out a finger with a purple glow around it. At the same time, he activated Shadow Step and left an afterimage where he originally stood. Star Finger. An azure light came from Zhao Feng's finger and clashed heavily with Zhao Linlong's Spatial Cloud Finger. Boom! The two peak-ranked martial arts met one another, causing their robes to fly in the wind. Tang! 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 The two moved back simultaneously. Zhao Linlong retreated 5 steps and he felt blood gurgle through his throat. Zhao Feng wasn't that well off either. He felt the finger that clashed with Zhao Linlong turn numb. Star Finger. The 3rd level of Star Finger. How could he have reached it at such a young age? The elders understood how terrifying Star Finger was. Star Finger was the most powerful skill in the martial arts library. There were many people training it, but they finally dropped it as it was too hard to learn and they had a high chance of injuring themselves. From the first move, it was obvious Zhao Feng had the advantage. It was indeed frightening for someone with lower cultivation to gain the upper hand. Zhao Feng has the advantage because of Star Finger and his body-strengthening technique. Zhao Tiansong sighed and didn't bother to conceal the shock on his face. His voice was also just loud enough to let Zhao Linlong hear. Zhao Feng's metal wall technique had reached the 5th level and he had unimaginable power. He was still suppressing his cultivation, so his metal wall technique only seemed to be at the peak 4th level. The power of his Star Finger was indeed stronger than Zhao Linlong's Spatial Cloud Finger. I don't believe it. Zhao Linlong roared and once again condensed his inner strength. In that short moment he had reached his peak state. If it was any other genius here they would probably die. Third stance star finger. Zhao Feng's eyes became sharp as an azure light swished through the air. Pew! His finger slashed through the air and became an azure light. Poof! Poof! Pew! Zhao Feng's offense warded Zhao Linlong off repeatedly. Wah! On the eighth move, Zhao Linlong's face turned white and he spat out a mouthful of blood. From the situation, it seemed that Zhao Linlong couldn't manage to exchange 10 blows with Zhao Feng. This is a second Xian Wuheng. Zhao Han and Zhao Qi looked at each other and nodded their heads. But thinking about it, Zhao Feng and Xian Wuheng both came first and Xian Wuheng had admitted defeat. From this, they could see that Zhao Feng's strength was only higher than Xian Wuheng's and not lower. Flowing wind stance. On the 9th move, Zhao Linlong's aura changed. A thick purple light whipped heavily towards Zhao Feng. What kind of move was this? Zhao Qi, Zhao Han and Zhao Yufei felt their hearts shake. Even Zhao Feng, who had the upper hand, felt some pressure. Could this be the partial holy martial art? Zhao Feng soon regained his composure and condensed more energy into Star Finger. One-line Star Finger. The azure light came and went like a meteor. What? He's learnt one-line Star Finger? One-line Star Finger. The killing move of Star Finger. If he's learnt this already then he's not far away from the 4th level. The elders were extremely shocked. Star Finger was the strongest skill, but it was also the hardest one to learn at the same time. For the past 100 years many geniuses tried to learn Star Finger, but their results were all the same. Their finger either got disfigured or the speed of learning it was slow, so they finally gave up. This skill was not just hard. There was too much danger involved as well. One elder from the earlier generation had said that Star Finger was on the half-holy martial art level, but it was just too dangerous. But in this generation, a branch disciple had managed to learn Star Finger. One-line Star Finger slashed through the air and broke through Zhao Linlong's flowing wind stance. Zhao Linlong's figure trembled as his sleeve was ripped open. You've lost. Zhao Feng's finger stopped at his arm's acupuncture point. Star Finger contained many skills within it including hitting acupuncture points, etc. I've lost? Zhao Linlong went into shock. It wasn't as if he never thought of himself losing. It was just the difference between them was too great. He thought how childish it was when he didn't put Zhao Feng in his eyes. Not bad. You can already control your inner strength perfectly. Yi Linyun praised. He found Zhao Feng more and more to his liking after this battle. Challenging high ranks was rare even in Province City. Furthermore, Zhao Feng didn't seem to try that hard at all. Zhao Tiansong and his cronies looked at each other and sighed deeply. They could obviously see that Zhao Feng's one-line Star Finger could destroy Zhao Linlong's arm, but he didn't do so. The battle between two top-tier geniuses of Sun Feather City ended here. Yi Linyun looked at Zhao Feng, then at Zhao Yufei, and he seemed pretty pleased. Although he had missed the genius of the Xian family, he had gotten 2 from the Zhao family. Zhao Feng's performance far exceeded his expectations. You two go and prepare your stuff. In 3 days we will go head towards Province City. Yi Linyun told the two. Shwa! Yi Linyun turned into a blur. The next second he disappeared. So fast. Without using his left eye, Zhao Feng couldn't even see his shadow. If Yi Linyun was to attack, no one would be able to resist, including the sect leader and the elders. Is that the power of the 9th rank? Then, how strong would Lord Guanjuan be? Zhao Feng couldn't help but take in a deep breath. Sect leader, there's still 3 days left. I need to go back to Green Leaf Village. Zhao Feng's eyes focused on Zhao Tiansong. He was under confinement orders from the family. Go! Although Zhao Tiansong was the head of the sect, he felt useless. The words seemed to pull out all of his energy. Now Zhao Feng was one of Guanjuan Palace's men. He wouldn't have the guts to do anything to him. But we hope that you give an answer to Zhao Tiansong's death. From the Star Finger you just used, you have the ability to kill them. Light flashed within Zhao Tiansong's eyes. At this moment, he just wanted an answer. Even if Zhao Feng's answer was that he joined the Qiu family, they couldn't do anything to him. Zhao Tianjian was indeed killed by me, but I didn't betray the Zhao family. Zhao Feng laughed. It was you. Before, they were just suspicious and didn't really believe that Zhao Feng had the ability to kill the two. One more point. The real one that teamed up with the Qiu family wasn't me. If you want to know the answer, you could go and find some information from Zhao Tianjian's place. Zhao Feng left this sentence behind and then left the room. Could it be? Understanding showed on their faces. On the same day, the high level of the sect immediately sent out men to secure Zhao Tianjian's family, including Zhao Yijian. Zhao Yijian didn't know what happened, but they did find some proof within the family linking them to the Qiu family. Finally, the truth was found. The high level of the sect finally realized the unfair treatment of Zhao Feng. Usually, they wouldn't really care, but now it was different. Zhao Feng had been selected into Guanjuan Palace and he had an unlimited future. His future determined the Zhao family's future. Therefore, the sect leader ordered Elder Zhao to go and comfort Zhao Feng. Ha 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 ha. It feels so good to see the expressions on their faces. Elder Zhao didn't feel sympathetic for them at all. Instead, he was happy. Oh yeah, the high level have decided to open the 3rd floor of the martial arts library for you. He took back another piece of news. 3rd floor of the martial arts library. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. This result was within his expectations. On the 2nd day, 3 elders including Elder Zhao came to the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor was an extremely mysterious place. One elder alone couldn't open it. The sect had its rules. 3 elders must agree simultaneously to open it. A dark green stone door was the path to the 3rd floor. Wang, the stone door hummed as if a certain mechanism had been opened. Then the door swung open. Zhao Feng immediately stepped in and found himself in a stone room. On the wall, there were weird pictures carved onto it. Some were moving while some places were blurred. Under the combined power of the 3 martial masters, the picture seemed to come alive. Flowing wind stance, tornado stance, partial wind stance, burning wind stance. Every picture had a different stance to it, but due to age of it, the pictures weren't very clear. Zhao Feng felt that even with the power of 3 martial masters, it wasn't enough to fully activate the pictures. The series of pictures combined to form a complete holy martial art, but the wall is kind of blurry, and there isn't enough power to fully activate it. Zhao Feng's left eye quickly scanned over the pictures. Zhao Feng, we can only sustain this for 30 more breaths. If you can gain anything from it, it's all up to you. Elder Zhao's voice sounded from outside. 30 breaths. Zhao Feng's heart clenched. Shua! Immediately, he pushed his left eye to the maximum and went into enhanced vision mode. Under his left eye, the pictures on the stone wall became clearer. Copy! Zhao Feng spat out a word and one of the pictures was absorbed into the dimension in his left eye. A picture appeared in the dimension of his left eye. He had copied the picture into his mind, and although it wasn't a complete holy martial art, it still surpassed peak-ranked martial arts. Flowing wind stance. Zhao Feng saw the name under the picture. This move was the exact same one that Zhao Linlong used before, but the latter had only just touched the edges of it. Soon, the second picture appeared in his mind. The scenery of the second picture was more complex than the first one. The second stance, tornado. Zhao Feng successfully copied the picture into his mind, but felt tiredness overwash him. The more complex the thing he copied, the more mental energy it would rake. The third stance, partial wind stance. Zhao Feng clenched his teeth and forcefully took the picture into his mind. This one was even more complex than the one before, and at this time, he felt even more tired. Cold sweat came out from Zhao Feng's forehead. With his remaining energy, it was obvious that he couldn't copy the fourth picture. He took a deep breath and closed in his eyes. He then circulated air-crossing breathing technique to recover. Outside the room, the 3 elders could only sustain the room for 30 breaths, and the time was decreasing as each moment passed. 10 breaths. 15 breaths, 20 breaths. The time was reaching the limit. 25 breaths, 26 breaths, 27 breaths. Zhao Feng's breathing became faster and faster. Right now, the tiredness started to fade away. At the last 2 breaths, burning wind slice. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly opened and a faint green light appeared on his eye as he forcefully copied the fourth picture. Honk! The next instant, he felt his consciousness overrun by a wall of fire. The chaotic burning wind seemed to destroy anything and everything in its path. Is this power within the limits of cultivators? Zhao Feng felt his mouth turn dry, and it was as if all the water in his body had been evaporated. But in reality, he hadn't been injured in any way. It was just an illusion. Shua! The fourth picture was taken into his left eye. Done. Zhao Feng tiredly fell down on his bum. At almost the exact same time, the three elders outside took back their inner strength. Wang! The pictures on the wall once again fell silent and stopped moving. It seemed like they were just ordinary pictures. How much insight did you gain? The three elders outside asked. Insights? Zhao Feng flinched. He actually didn't gain any insights from the third floor yet. It's all right. These pictures are pretty blurry and most of the geniuses that have been inside have gained almost nothing. Elder Zhao comforted. They didn't feel anything weird when Zhao Feng didn't gain any insights. Yeah, even if you did, the little amount you gained is still not better than a peak-ranked martial art. One of the other elders nodded their head in agreement. The third floor was never opened for two reasons. One, it needed the power of three elders at once, and they could only sustain it for 30 breaths. Second, the holy martial art was just too blurry and the insights gained were just too small. 30 breaths was just too short for anyone to fully gain anything. Thank you, elders, for your effort. Zhao Feng didn't seem disappointed at all. Yes, it was true he didn't gain anything within the 30 breaths, but he had copied all four pictures into his mind. Returning home, Zhao Feng closed his eyes and first focused on recovering his mental energy. Then, when his mental energy reached its peak state, he started to look at the four partial holy martial art skills. The four weren't complete holy martial arts, they had parts missing and they were blurry. But even then, Zhao Feng felt that these skills weren't that hard. The first and second stances were easier than his mysterious wind palm, and the third stance was on par with it. The fourth stance contained a will to destroy everything. Even though it was incomplete, it had still exceeded the limits of the human body. Ages later, Zhao Feng let out a long breath and shook his head. He was only able to fully comprehend the first move, flowing wind stance, but the full comprehension of the skill didn't have much of an effect on his overall strength. It wasn't even as good as learning a peak-ranked martial art. This was because the first stance, flowing wind stance, was a support skill. It wasn't an offensive or defensive skill. Because of this, Zhao Feng didn't dwell on it that much. Although he had a feeling that although these four skills might not be of use to him now, they will be in the future. On the morning of the second day, Zhao Feng, along with his parents, went back to Greenleaf Village. In another 2 days, he would leave Sun Feather City and go to the Guangzhou Province city thousands of miles away. In the blink of an eye, I've been at the main branch for almost a year. Zhao Feng couldn't help but remember that he was only a cultivator of the first rank when he entered. In 1 year's time, he had increased by leaps and bounds and reached the 6th rank. With your cultivation and age, nothing in Greenleaf Village can stop you, his father Zhao Tianyang said. His parents were both very proud of their son. The branch sect leader was Zhao Kaiyuan, an old man who had reached the 4th rank. Apart from him, the strongest were of the 3rd rank. When they received news of Zhao Feng's return, the head of the family personally came out to greet him. Thinking back then, Zhao Feng was also the top genius of Greenleaf Village. Now he returned like a hero. Soon, they walked into the branch sect's pavilion. This building was nowhere near close to what the main sect's building was. It had tattered holes in it everywhere due to its age. Fenger, your achievements today far exceed my expectations. Zhao Kaiyuan couldn't help but exclaim. In just a short 1 year's time, Zhao Feng had reached the 5th rank and he was the strongest in the branch sect. This was something that no one expected. Usually, the youths recommended by the branch sect were sent back. Truthfully, the elders of the branch sect didn't put too much hope in them. Zhao Feng was slightly stunned when he learned of the truth. The elders of Greenleaf Village had never even thought about him becoming one of the geniuses at the main sect. They had even made preparations for him being sent back. Just as the people were speaking, screams and shouts came from outside the main gate. What happened? Zhao Feng's eyebrows scrunched up and the conversation was stopped in the room. Head of the sect, the Lu's family's men have come for trouble again. A few youths who had faces full of bruises came rushing in. Ridiculous! The head of the family Zhao Kaiyuan stood up. Lu family? Light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. He was born in Greenleaf Village and so he was familiar with the Lu family. For the past tens of years, the Lu family had quickly risen and expanded in strength and they had become the biggest family within Greenleaf Village. Although Greenleaf Village couldn't be compared to Sunfeather City, they were still a force to be reckoned with. Zhao Feng remembered that there was rumors of 2 to 3 cultivators of the 5th rank at the Lu family. For the past year the Lu family had taken the properties of many families, and now they want to buy the mine of ours for only 3,000 pieces of silver. Zhao Kaiyuan said full of rage. Hehe. The Lu family does have guts. Zhao Feng laughed coldly then went outside. Fenger, don't rush. The Lu family now have a cultivator of the 6th rank. The sect leader immediately tried to stop him. Zhao Feng was strong, but he was only one person. How could he fight the Lu family? The Lu family alone had tens of martial artists. 2 had reached the 5th and now 1 had reached the 6th. Angry Dragon Fist. Outside the gate Zhao Feng punched one of the cultivators from the Lu family. This guy's a 5th rank. Every attack together. The leader exclaimed. The bunch immediately pounced towards Zhao Feng. Quick! Support Fenger! Zhao Tianyang and Zhao Kaiyuan both exclaimed. The situation turned into chaos. Let me fight alone. From the crowd, Zhao Feng shouted. Boom boom boom. His leg immediately sent Mei cultivators of the Lu family flying. Zhao Feng faced the tens of people alone. Anyone that came within range of him received broken limbs in return. Zhao Feng soon turned into a blur and knocked down the leader. Ah! Young master! Please forgive us. The group had all been defeated by one person. Amidst the scream and dust, that figure seemed so handsome and tall. Ha ha ha! The people from the branch sect finally let out their laughter. Zhao Feng shook his head. These people were just too weak. That Lu family will definitely come for revenge. Shouldn't we go fortify our defenses first? Zhao Kaiyuan seemed disturbed. The Lu family was after all the strongest faction in Greenleaf Village and it was around 10 times stronger than the Zhao branch family. Defend! Zhao Feng coldly said. Why do we need to defend? Why don't we just go to them? Why should we defend? We should go and kill them all. Zhao Feng's words shocked the others. Attack the Lu family? Zhao Kaiyuan was full of fear. No. The Lu family is the god of Greenleaf Village. In their minds, the Lu family was unbeatable. All they could do was defend. As for taking the offensive, they didn't dare to think about it unless they thought their lives were too long. Leave this to me. Zhao Feng left an afterimage where he stood. The next instant, he jumped onto the roof and disappeared in a few breaths. Not good. Zhao Kaiyuan and Zhao Tianyang felt uneasy. How could a youth beat the Lu family? Follow him. Within the room, the 2 shouted. However, no one in Greenleaf Village could catch up to Zhao Feng. Even Zhao Kaiyuan's speed was not even half of his. Outside, Zhao Feng circulated lightly floating fairy and leapt between the trees. His feet barely touched the ground as he ran. Now, his lightly floating fairy had reached the high level. But when he used the skill, Zhao Feng could use Flowing Wind Stance with it. Flowing Wind Stance was the easiest move out of the 4 incomplete holy martial arts. At this moment, when he used Flowing Wind Stance and lightly floating fairy together, his figure became swifter and more agile as if he was the wind itself. Tang! Tang! Zhao Feng felt his body become lighter and the leaps he made become smoother. In another instant, his speed once again increased. Shwa! A blur came and left at an unbelievable speed. Zhao Feng couldn't contain his happiness. This flowing wind stance had such a wonderful effect. Therefore, it could be seen that Zhao Linlong had gone off the right track when he mistook it for an offensive skill. Greenleaf Village, Lu family. Elder. A genius from the Zhao family came and injured our brothers. A cultivator of the Lu family said hurriedly. HM? The measly Zhao family dares to hurt our people. A slightly far middle-aged man sat within the room. While he was speaking, he even drank slowly from his teacup. He was the king of Greenleaf Village, and all those who dared to challenge them for the past few years had all disappeared. A faction like the Zhao family was just an ant in the Lu family's eyes. If not for the main Zhao sect, the Lu family would have already taken it over. Elder, you've got to help us. They're not putting you in their eyes at all. The fighters of the Lu family cried. Tell the Zhao family that we'll give them one day to hand over that youth or else. The voice that emanated from the fat man was cold. Yes, yes. The expressions of the Lu family's fighters turned to one of joy. Not good. The youth of the Zhao family has come. Just at this moment, screams came from outside. Plop, plop. A blur came into the mansion of the Lu family, and no one could even stop one move of his. Sect leader. Sect leader. The youth has already come inside the mansion and injured 10 to 20 people. Chaos broke out in the mansion. Within the lounge of the Lu family, the head of the family Lu Guerong sat with 2 elders and the 6th rank. That guy's speed is just too fast. One elder as skinny as a branch said. When did the Zhao family have such a talented youth? The slightly fat elder's expression was solemn. With their 5th rank cultivation, they couldn't even see how he moved. It was good that at this moment, the mansion turned calm once again as the youth didn't appear anymore. Everyone's eyes turned to the head of the sect, who had the highest cultivation. Lu Guerong's hair was white, but he still had a composed face. In terms of speed, I'm not faster than him. How is this possible? Hearts clenched. After all, Lu Guerong's cultivation had reached the 6th rank half a year ago, and he became the strongest person in Greenleaf Village. What could they do? The Lu family felt that this was pretty troublesome. Obviously, if he faced me head-on, I'm certain I can win. Only the sect leader was composed. Humph! If that brat dares come here, I'll make sure he can't return. Everyone shouted. At this moment, 80% of the high level were present, and the strength of them could crush any force within Greenleaf Village. If that youth from the Zhao family came, this was the plan that Lu Guerong set up. Haha, you're all together. That's the best. You save me the trouble of finding you all. A childish laugh came from the roof. The expressions of all the cultivators present changed. When did he reach the roof? Boom! The roof trembled as a youth ripped a hole in it and landed in the middle of the room. The person was Zhao Feng. His landing point was the exact middle of the room, which meant he was surrounded. Ha ha ha! Thanks for coming. The slightly fat elder roared with joy. Smiles appeared on the Lu Guerong's and the skinny elder's faces. The other 6 cultivators of the 4th rank were full of excitement as well. You're indeed excellent, but just a bit young. Lu Guerong had his I will win face on. If Zhao Feng didn't come out directly, they couldn't do anything to him because he was too fast. But now, Zhao Feng had given up that advantage and faced them directly. At this moment, they were looking at Zhao Feng with retarded faces on. Zhao Feng immediately understood what was happening. It looks like you haven't understood who's the hunter and who's the hunted. Zhao Feng smiled. Brat, die. The cultivators closed in on him, full of excitement. Only the head of sect had worry in his eyes. But Zhao Feng was already surrounded, so there shouldn't be any problems. Take him down, the slightly fat elder ordered. Howling tiger fist, stone-shattering palm, flying cloud leg. The group of cultivators used different skills to attack Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng faced the attack of 6 people at once. Lu Guerong and the 2 elders guarded the exits to stop Zhao Feng from escaping. Pong! Pong! Bang! A variety of skills landed on Zhao Feng. Metal wall rebound. Zhao Feng's whole body turned metal-like and rebounded the attacks. Crack! The sound of bones shattering never ended. Plop! 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 The 6 men fell down to the ground, all seriously injured. The scene shocked the 2 elders and Lu Guerong. How did he do this? The fat elder screamed. It's your turn. Zhao Feng turned to face the 3. Sir, we can talk diplomatically. A smile that was even uglier than crying appeared on Lu Guerong's face. The strength that Zhao Feng had just shown had exceeded what they knew. Even Lu Guerong didn't have any confidence in beating Zhao Feng. I'll give you 1 day to take all of the men of the Lu family and leave Greenleaf Village, or else I'll cripple all your cultivation. Zhao Feng said. He had lived at Greenleaf Village for most of his life, and he knew how the Lu family usually acted. Therefore, Zhao Feng's punishment was considered quite light. Yes, yes, yes. Lu Guerong immediately answered and looked at the two elders. They agreed this easily, just as Zhao Feng was wondering. Smashing wind palm. Lu Guerong's inner strength exploded as he shot out a high-level martial art at Zhao Feng's forehead. Dai! The two elders attacked from the two sides. Under the short distance and the furious attacks of 2 5th rankers and 1 6th rank, even Zhao Feng was caught off guard. Kid, you're too young. Lu Guerong laughed hysterically as his palm reached Zhao Feng's forehead. Retards. Zhao Feng coldly laughed and left an afterimage where he originally stood. Not good. The attacks of Lu Guerong and the two elders had all missed. They didn't even get to touch Zhao Feng's clothes. Shua. The next moment, Zhao Feng appeared once again in the middle of the three, exactly in the same position as before, as if time had flowed backwards. What? Cold sweat flooded the backs of Lu Guerong and the two elders. High-ranked martial arts. Peak level. Lu Guerong barely managed to squeeze out these words. At this moment, they had finally realized how terrifying this youth really was. Zhao Feng's lightly floating fairy had not only reached the high level, his lightly microstep had also consolidated at the max level when he had merged the flowing wind stance with it. There was no one in Sun Feather City who had reached max level of a high-ranked martial art, including the older generation. If you're going to be ungrateful, then don't blame me for not holding back. Killing intent was released from Zhao Feng just before Lu Guerong and the two elders had tried to kill him. If it wasn't for the fact that he was strong, he may have died. Just as Lu Guerong had said, Zhao Feng was still too soft-hearted. To be kind to the enemy was to be cruel to yourself. Breaking wind palm, die. Lu Guerong pretended to use his killing move, but in reality, his figure went in the opposite direction. Run. The two elders reacted as well. By now, they understood the difference between them and Zhao Feng. Stay! Zhao Feng ordered as his figure leapt into the air and stabbed out his finger multiple times. Sess. Hissing sounds came from the air. 3 azure lights pierced the air and hit their targets. Woo! Lu Guerong's body stiffened as a hole the size of a finger appeared on his forehead. The expression of fear and shock still remained on his face. Zhao Feng hadn't even come close to him, so how did a hole appear on his forehead? The two elders, however, had seen how Zhao Feng moved, but 2 bloodstains appeared on their chests as well. Plop! Plop! The 2 elders of the 5th rank fell to the ground, dead. Zhao Feng had used his spatial star finger to kill them. Tang! At this time, Zhao Feng landed on the ground again. He had killed the 3 of them in only a breath's time. A martial master would probably have difficulty in doing this, but Zhao Feng had increased reaction speed and his left eye had locked on to his targets. Spare us! Zhao Feng's cold-blooded methods had stunned the 6 injured martial artists on the ground. In their eyes, Zhao Feng's methods could be said to be on par with martial masters. Zhao Feng didn't bother to deal with them as he walked slowly out of the lounge. At this time, the people of the branch sect had finally arrived. Coming into the lounge of the Lu family, the sect leader Zhao Kaiyuan looked at Zhao Feng deeply. This is a warning and example for all the powers inside Greenleaf Village. Zhao Feng stood on the rooftop as his voice resounded around the village. An example. The hearts of everyone trembled as they understood the meaning of the youth's words. From now on, if any power within Greenleaf Village dared to infuriate the Zhao family, this would be their outcome. A family such as the Lus had reached such a state. What would theirs be in comparison? The genius produced from the Zhao family could threaten all the powers in the Greenleaf Village now. Solving this problem, Zhao Feng left the other small matters for Zhao Kaiyuan to deal with. Greenleaf Village was the place had he grown up in, and he had deep emotions for this place. Now that he had enough strength, he was obviously going to protect it. Zhao Feng only stayed in the village for 1 day before he left. His will was the outside world. Greenleaf Village and Sun Feather City couldn't stop him. A few hours later, Zhao Feng arrived back at the main Zhao family. Tomorrow he was going to leave this place and enter a brand new stage. But before he left, Zhao Feng still made the last preparations as packed his important items, which included the 1,000-year blood plant, bamboo, and spirit plant. Furthermore, there was still the silver bow which Zhao Feng decided to take. But unexpectedly, the high level decided to give him a better one. We know that you're very talented with the bow, so we're going to give this golden stairs bow to you. The bow is one of the weapons of our ancestors, and only martial masters can use its full power. Elder Zhao handed over a wooden box. Opening the box, a golden bow lay silently there. Its look was simple, but the string glowed faintly gold. Gently, he pulled the golden string, but he found that there was quite a bit of resistance. One had to know that Zhao Feng's metal wall technique had reached the 5th level, so in strength alone he was even stronger than martial masters. Wang! The string trembled as he let go. He was certain that this golden stairs bow had surpassed the silver bow in many grades. When did the family become so nice as to giving me silver and weapons? Although Zhao Feng said this, he was still pleased with this bow. With the help of the golden stairs bow, he could threaten the lives of cultivators of the 7th rank. That day, Zhao Feng stayed inside his room getting familiar with the bow. Within his mind, his flowing meteor archery skill merged with his mind. With Zhao Feng's enhanced vision, normal skills didn't come into his eyes at all. I need to fully merge all of the archery skills to be able to use half the potential of my left eye. Zhao Feng had the firstborn advantage in archery. Normal archery skills didn't help him at all. Obviously, he still needed a few days to merge all these archery skills together. The second morning, both Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei arrived early. The two looked at each other and smiled. After the summit, the two now stood at the peak of Sun Feather City. Soon, the head of the sect arrived as well. Facing Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei, the elders were all very respectful because they knew their futures were unmeasurable. With their potential, they may be able to lead the Zhao family to a greater height. Shua! An azure blur appeared on the rooftop of the hall and a handsome man appeared. The person that came was Master Yi, but no one had seen how he came. Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei, the 3 days have passed. You two will now come with me to the Guangzhou province city. Yi Linyun smiled faintly. Yes. Zhao Yufei and Zhao Feng replied in unison. The man standing in front of them was one of the strongest people in the Cloud Country. The entire Zhao family had no chance against him. Sang! Sang! The two followed Yi Linyun and sat in a carriage that headed northwards, under the shadow of a tree outside of the Zhao family's gate. It's better this way, with Yufei's potential and secret. A one-armed old man sent the carriage away with his eyes. For the next few days, Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei headed towards Guangzhou Province City. The distance from Guangzhou Province City and Sun Feather City took about 4 to 5 days on the carriage to travel. In this time, Zhao Feng merged the essence of the archery skills together to create his own skill. Because this skill was built on various skills and his left eye, he decided to name it Archery God's Left Eye. The left eye stood for his own eye, which came from an ancient god. As time passed, the skill started to form. My Archery God's Left Eye relies on the abilities of my left eye. The essence of the skill probably surpasses peak-ranked martial arts. Zhao Feng estimated. Archery skills were quite rare. There wasn't any peak-ranked archery skills in the Zhao family's martial arts library. On the journey, Yi Linyun spent most of his time cross-legged, cultivating. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. He had reached the 9th rank already, and he was still putting in so much effort. If the legendary Holy Martial Path was excluded, didn't that mean the 9th rank was the strongest? As if sensing Zhao Feng's gaze, Yi Linyun opened his eyes. There's still half a day's time till we reach Guangzhou Province City. Do you have any questions you want me to answer? Asking a martial master of the 9th rank questions? Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei saw the excitement in each other's eyes. What kind of realm is the Holy Martial Path? Zhao Feng asked. Holy Martial Path is the realm above the 9th rank, but since I haven't reached it, I can't really tell you much about it. But according to the books, once someone reaches the Holy Martial Path, their bodies would undergo certain changes and their lifespans would increase. You could understand it as surpassing the limits of the human body. Yi Linyun answered. surpassing the limits of the human body. Zhao Feng couldn't help but remember the burning wind stance. The move seemed to engulf everything standing in its way, and a mortal body didn't seem able to unleash that kind of power. Those that reach the holy martial path are all geniuses. You can count them with one hand in Cloud Country. A look of admiration appeared in Yi Linyun's eyes. Soon, Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei both asked Yi Linyun more questions. The 9 ranks of the martial path train one's body starting from the skin to the organs. Therefore, it's best to set a solid foundation to have a better chance of reaching the holy martial path. Yi Linyun emphasized. Zhao Feng kept this in his heart. He vaguely realized that the 9 ranks of the martial path didn't seem to emphasize on killing or fighting. We're almost there. The speed of the carriage started to slow down. At a certain point, a tiny black dot appeared within their sights. In Zhao Feng's vision, the black dot became bigger and soon, it turned into a magnificent city at least 4 or 5 times larger than Sunfeather City. It seemed like an enormous beast as its gates engulfed the unlimited horses, carriage and people entering. Zhao Feng was able to inspect Guangzhou Province City 20 miles away while the others, including Yi Linyun, still saw it as a tiny black dot. Within his left eye, the azure light had reached 6'3", which stood for his cultivation. Zhao Feng found that ever since he entered the 6th rank, the progress of his cultivation started to slow down unlike his martial arts. According to Yi Linyun, the 9 ranks of the martial path strive to perfect one's body. So as one reached the later ranks, the harder it was progress. The carriage soon entered the rich province city. On the way, Zhao Feng realized that any random youth would have the cultivation of the 3rd and 4th rank. The buildings here were far more majestic. It was not something Sunfeather City could be compared to. Finally, the carriage entered the depths of the city and stopped near a rich, noble palace. Compared to this, the Zhao family's mansion was just like an old bathroom. They weren't even close to being on the same level. Just the front gate alone was several carriages wide. What surprised them more was that the 8 guards at the front gate had already reached the 4th rank or higher. Cultivators of the 4th rank are only guards here? Zhao Feng was slightly dazed. Being born in a small village and cultivating to this level, he understood how much effort and pain it took. Martial artists of the 4th rank or higher would even be respected in Sunfeather City. This is the Guangzhou Palace, and it is the most influential place in the city. I'll soon transfer you guys to the Sky Guards Battalion, where we train our geniuses. Yi Linyun warned. Guangzhou Palace. Sky Guards Battalion. The breathing rate of Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei increased. After entering the Guangzhou Palace, Zhao Feng realized that almost every cultivator was of the 4th rank or higher. Zhao Feng even saw 3 martial masters of the 7th rank. Soon, Yi Linyun led the 2 to an old dirty field. It was weird that an old dirty field such as this would appear in the middle of the Guangzhou Palace. On the field, there were a few tents and a low number of wooden rooms. Only in the very middle there was a building. This is the forbidden area of the Guangzhou Palace, the Sky Guards Battalion, which was created by Lord Guangzhou himself in the hope of raising some geniuses. At the same time, this is the backup of the Guangzhou Corps. Yi Linyun walked forward. Sky Guards Battalion? We're gonna live in this shitty place? Zhao Feng stared at the dirty muddy field with 10 wooden rooms and a few more tents. The environment here was so crap that it wasn't even able to be compared with Greenleaf Village. Haha, Master Yi. These are the 2 geniuses you brought. A white-bearded old man came from the other side with a black-clothed youth following behind him. Master who? Yi Linyun signaled to the white-bearded old man. While they were speaking, Master who casually looked at Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei. Instantly, the 2 felt as if all their secrets had been exposed. Zhao Feng's heart shook. This old man's cultivation IWA probably even higher than Yi Linyun's. It could be seen that the Guangzhou Palace did indeed have an unique position to see 2 martial masters of the 9th rank here. He's Huang Qi, a genius I picked from the Pearl Tree City, just 15 years old and already at the 6th rank. The old man smiled as he introduced the youth standing behind him with joy. 15 years old and already at the 6th rank. His talent was indeed good. The youth named Huan Qi casually glanced at Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei, but surprise was seen in his eyes as he looked at the ladders. Both the white-bearded old man and Master Yi were in charge of sending their geniuses here. After they sent the three to the gate, the two masters immediately stopped. "I'll send you up to here. You better perform well because Lord Guanjuan will be coming out of secluded meditation next month." Yi Linyun warned, then left. Being a martial master of the 9th rank, his time was precious too. The white-bearded old man also talked to Huang Qi. "Lord Guanjuan is known for his love of geniuses, especially young ones. You need to grasp this chance to change your destiny." "Yes, Master Hu." Huang Qi took a deep breath and solemnly answered. Lord Guanjuan was a legend in this country and the Skyguards Battalion was created by him. If he stayed here and cultivated, not only would he receive resources from the Guanjuan Palace, he would also get the chance to see the legendary Lord Guanjuan. The two from the Zhao family walked into the dirty fields with Huang Qi. On the way, they saw many youths of the same age. Most of them were between the ages of 12 and 18, but the majority were under 16. This meant that their ages were all similar. 12 years old, 3rd rank. Zhao Feng couldn't help but click his tongue. The two children who had just walked past were both 12 years old and they had reached the 3rd rank. One needed to remember that Zhao Feng didn't even step into the martial path when he was 12. Furthermore, youths with 14 and 15 years of age could be seen everywhere and their cultivation were all at least of the 4th rank, with some even reaching the 5th and 6th rank. The scene turned the expression of the slightly arrogant Huang Qi solemn. "These three are probably new." The youths of the Skyguards Battalion looked curiously at the three, but the majority of the gazes landed on Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei was beautiful and she had a pure angelic aura on her. "Look, there's a beautiful girl genius here." Figures started to appear from within the Skyguards Battalion. Looking at these new faces, sparks lit up within their eyes. Entering the Skyguards Battalion, Zhao Feng and the other two all knew these were the geniuses across the country. It should be here. The three of them made their way to the center where the building was. As they had just entered the Skyguards Battalion, they needed to come report here. "Are you three new?" A lazy voice sounded from behind. "What?" Cold sweat appeared on Zhao Feng's back as he turned around and saw a silver-clad youth there. The three jumped up in fear. When did the person appear? Soon, Zhao Feng realized that the clothes were familiar. He suddenly realized that on the day of the summit, there was a similar figure wearing the same silver outfit and he had injured the elder of the Qiu family. "My name is 3rd Guard and I am the supervisor of the Skyguards Battalion. From today, you're a member of the Skyguards Battalion. Now listen to the rules." The youth's words were simple and short. The rules of the Skyguards Battalion were strict. Firstly, every member could only leave once a month. Secondly, different people received different treatments. Thirdly, as long as no one was seriously injured, crippled, dead, you could do whatever you wanted. The first and third rules were easy to understand. But what did the second one mean? That afternoon, Zhao Feng understood the reason. There was only 10 wooden rooms and 30 tents in the Skyguards Battalion. Because the three had just arrived, they all received an old worn tent which the three could just fit perfectly in. "We're supposed to sleep here?" Huang Qi tried to suppress his anger. The old worn tent could barely block the rain and wind. As for anything else, it was completely useless. Being the genius of Pearl Tree City, when did he receive such treatment? Zhao Feng scrunched his eyebrows. For him it was all right, but Zhao Yufei was a woman and a pretty one too. This shitty tent couldn't even block most private parts. Zhao Yufei bit her lips, but she didn't say anything. "Oi, new kids. All you need to do to enter the wooden rooms is beat their original owners." A skinny youth walked over full of joy and warned. The three immediately turned their gazes to the 10 wooden rooms. The rooms also had numbers 1 to 10 on them. It was obvious that these 10 were the elite of the elite. "Good. All I need to do to get a wooden room is just beat the original owner." Huang Qi couldn't help but rub his hands together. He had complete confidence that with his 6th rank cultivation and being the top genius of Pearl Tree City, he could easily get a room. Dinner time. The few Guanjuan guards brought the food to the youth in their tents. PFFF. What kind of food is this? It's like the food I feed my pigs." Huang Qi tasted some but immediately spat it out. It was just too disgusting. Zhao Feng chewed a bit and also spat it out. The food they had received had all gone old. But the three soon realized that the guards who to the wooden rooms had plates full of delicious, tasty food. Fuck! Huang Qi cursed and stood up. It was obvious that the youths living inside the wooden rooms received better treatment. The youths inside the wooden rooms are known as the 10 Sky Guards. Where the rest of us eat leftover crap, they get to eat the wonders of the world and they have their own personal servants. Every month we get 2,100 pieces of silver, they get at least 10,000 and receive a variety of pills and resources. Apparently, if you become one of the 10 Sky Guards, there's a chance to receive pointers from Lord Guanjun himself. The skinny youth from before said unfairly and talked about the different treatments they received. Now, Zhao Feng fully understood the meaning of the second rule. Different people get different treatments. All that mattered here was strength. Only through strength would you receive your respect. I want to challenge someone. Huang Qi howled as he threw the overdue food on the ground and sprinted in the direction of the wooden rooms. The howl from Huang Qi caught the attention of Zhao Yufei and Zhao Feng. He was going to challenge someone? Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei exchanged glances and watched Huang Qi sprint towards the direction of the wooden rooms. Zha. Now the show begins. Figures started to appear from within the tents. He has some guts to challenge the 10 Sky Guards on the first day. He does have the right to though. He's at the 6th rank. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned the youths coming out of their tents and found that most of their cultivations were at the 4th or 5th rank. There were a few slightly older ones at the 6th rank as well. The person with the worst potential here was already on par with Sun Feather City's Zhao Linlong. Soon, Huang Qi arrived in front of the 10 wooden rooms, which had numbers according to their strength. The 10th owner was the 10th strongest, and because it was Huang Qi's first time challenging someone, he obviously picked the guy at the end. Ha ha ha! Who dares to challenge me? Li Changfeng. An arrogant laughter came from within the room. With a creak, the door opened and a youth full of scars came out. Number 10 Li Changfeng had only reached the peak 5th rank, but he was full of a menacing aura. Humph! A lowly 5th rank dares to be arrogant. On the muddy field, the two faced off. Arrogant or not, you'll soon know. Li Changfeng laughed and took out a pitch-black sword with many holes on it, just like the scars on his body. Stop talking and fight. Huang Qi's figure blurred as he used a high-ranked martial art that had reached the peak level. 13 legs of the willow. Huang Qi exclaimed as he performed another high-ranked martial art of the peak level. Just these two skills alone made him dominate youths of the Pearl Tree City. Breaking rock sword. Li Changfeng's curved blade was sliced out and a dark red inner strength appeared on it. The level of that move had reached the max level. Pong! The two high-ranked skills collided heavily together. Huang Qi humphed and retreated back a few steps. High-ranked martial art. Max level? Huang Qi couldn't believe what he was seeing. Next to Zhao Feng, shock also appeared in Zhao Yufei's eyes, splitting the rocks. Li Changfeng attacked once again, and his menacing aura became stronger and stronger. Feathers of the flying bird. Under the pressure, Huang Qi used another skill which allowed him to just dodge the attack. Heavenly rock shatter. Li Changfeng shouted, and in the night, that blade seemed as it could destroy the mountains. The power of this move exceeds the original move. What a terrifying blow. The hearts of the youths watching clenched. The menacing aura accompanied with his sword skill seemed to split the sky. Flying wind palm. At the point of danger, Huang Qi didn't hold back any longer and he suddenly used a peak-ranked palm skill. The palm seemed to push away the clouds. Clang. The energy clashed together and another hole was formed in the field. Wah! Huang Qi spat out a mouthful of blood midair and a red gash could be seen on his shirt. That move of Li Changfeng's was just too terrifying and it felt like it could slay anyone in its way. Under the confrontation, Li Changfeng wasn't even injured. He only shook a little. Are you all right? Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei hurriedly picked up Huang Qi. How could I lose? Huang Qi wasn't seriously injured, but he was full of shock and disbelief. Being the top genius of Pearl Tree City and a cultivator of the 6th rank, How could he not even beat someone of the fifth? Being a spectator, Zhao Feng saw more clearly what had happened. Firstly, Li Changfeng had heaps of battle experience. This could be seen through all the scars on his body. Secondly, Li Changfeng's sword skill had reached an extremely high level. Combined with the terrifying aura, his moves seemed even more deadly. Many people had seen these 2 points, but they didn't see the third. Li Changfeng's body was extremely strong, and it was on par with the 4th level of metal wall technique. Strong. Zhao Feng nodded his head. He and Zhao Yufei picked up Huang Qi in silence as they walked back. Oi, new boy! You wanted to challenge the 10 sky guards with just your strength? He wasn't even able to exchange more than 3 moves with the 10 sky guards. It doesn't seem that the new people this time are very good. From the sides came laughter. The 3 had just entered the Sky Guards battalion and they were counted as newbies. Under the midst of laughter, Zhao Yufei had caught the attention of many youths as well. Ha ha ha! Pretty girl. If you feel your tent isn't comfortable, you can come to my room. Li Changfeng had just seen Zhao Yufei's beauty and he was entranced by it as well. The words caused the youths nearby to roar out in laughter. Zhao Yufei's face was cold and her fists were clenched. It was obvious that she was about to challenge him. You're not his opponent. A powerful hand clasped her jade-like wrists. Zhao Feng had stopped her because his left eye had analyzed the results. Although their cultivation were the same level, Li Changfeng had more battle experience and he was far more fiercer. If Zhao Yufei challenged Li Changfeng, she only had a maximum chance of 40% to win. I don't believe it. Zhao Yufei's cheeks turned slightly red, and although she seemed unwilling, she didn't struggle. Shaija, where did this brat come from? Li Changfeng licked his lips and the fierceness in his eye increased. Let's go. Zhao Feng couldn't be bothered and left the area while pulling Zhao Yufei's hand. Want to leave? Li Changfeng turned into a wisp of wind and blocked their path. His high-ranked speed skill had also reached the peak level. Do you want to fight? Zhao Feng coldly said. Ha ha ha. Don't you know the rules of the Sky Guards battalion? As long as they're not seriously injured or crippled, you can fight all you want. Li Changfeng roared out in laughter. Sympathy was felt from the gazes of the youths nearby. Yes, the Sky Guards battalion didn't forbid fighting. On the contrary, they promoted it. It's better this way. Dangerous light shone in Zhao Feng's eyes. Wait, Zhao Yufei, I'll get a room for you. His words caused the youths nearby and Li Changfeng to stiffen, but after that came the laughter. Brother Feng. Zhao Yufei seemed to be worried. Although she knew Zhao Feng was strong, she didn't have complete confidence that he could win. Shua. The youth next to her suddenly disappeared and within the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Li Changfeng. What speed? All the youths watching only felt a blur. Max level of a high-ranked speed skill. Li Changfeng immediately used his full strength as well. After all, his speed skill was only close to the max level, it hadn't reached it yet. Shua! Shua! As the two exchanged blows, it was obvious Zhao Feng had the upper hand. Splitting the rocks. Li Changfeng's menacing blade once again appeared. This move had beaten back Huang Qi of the 6th rank just then. Under Zhao Feng's left eye, he realized that the opponent had purposely put part of his menacing aura into it to make the blade more fierce. This menacing aura could only be obtained by killing people. It was hard to wonder what kind of past this youth had. One line star finger. Zhao Feng exclaimed as he used his ultimate move. SSSSS. An azure light pierced through the air and clashed heavily with Li Changfeng's blade. Clang. Dang. Blood leaked from Li Changfeng's mouth as he retreated a few steps full of fear. How powerful was one star finger? It also had the power from metal wall technique. Star finger. Zhao Feng's finger left meteor streaks in the night and they were extremely beautiful. Li Changfeng managed to block 5 moves and although injuries started to appear, he didn't give up or admit defeat. What strong will! Although Zhao Feng admired him, he disliked his opponent's fierceness. So he didn't hold back. SSS. Li Changfeng groaned in pain as his curved blade was kicked from his hand. Hua! Outrage broke out amongst the spectators. The all-time arrogant, fierce Li Changfeng had been beaten by a youth younger than him. You're very strong. I won't lose to you next time. Li Chanfeng picked himself up from the ground and took his possessions from the wooden room. This also meant that the room was not his anymore. He won. Huang Qi stared dazed at the youth in front of him. The three had all entered the Skyguards battalion together, and he hadn't put Zhao Feng in his eyes at the beginning. After beating Li Changfeng, Zhao Feng could finally move into the wooden room. The 10 on his door meant that he was ranked 10th in the 10 Skyguards. At this moment, Zhao Feng could feel the awe, respect, and wariness in the gazes of those looking at him. Zhao Feng nodded his head, moved into the wooden room that once belonged to Li Changfeng, and found that the area inside wasn't large. It only had one bed and a table inside, but the difference between this and the tents were like a palace and bathroom. He thought about it and decided to give it to Zhao Yufei as she needed it more. This is the room that Brother Feng won with his strength. I can't live in it. One day, I'll use my own strength to take it. Zhao Yufei bit her teeth, and no matter how much Zhao Feng tried to persuade her, she didn't agree. Furthermore, the rules said that only the 10 Skyguards could enter, so Zhao Feng only helped build Zhao Yufei's tent next to his room. I hope that Brother Zhao can look after me a bit. Huang Qi's words were now far more respectful than before. The rules promoted fighting, and those that were strong had the best treatment. Those that didn't have strong backgrounds would get beaten up. Zhao Feng didn't disagree and went back to his room to cultivate again. Ever since he reached the 6th rank, Zhao Feng felt the progress in his cultivation decrease. If he was able to go one step further, he would be a martial master, which was an entire new level. He had never seen any martial masters under the age of 40 in Sun Feather City. 2 hours later, the green azure light was still 6'3" in the dimension of his left eye. According to this speed, I still need at least a year to reach the 7th rank. Zhao Feng thought about it. Then he took out his 3 1,000-year-old plants. That night, he ate the 1,000-year blood plant. The 1,000-year blood plant was even useful for those of the 7th rank. After eating it, Zhao Feng immediately did his best to absorb the surges of energy. Because his metal wall technique had reached the 5th level, his body was strong enough to withstand the energy of the 1,000-year blood plants. The merging of his left eye had also changed his body and his blood, so he was able to absorb more energy than others. 2 hours later, Zhao Feng had absorbed most of the energy. Inside his left eye, the green light had reached 6'6". I'll be able to reach the late stages of the 6th rank once I take another one. Zhao Feng thought about it, but it wasn't good to continuously eat these resources as there was poison in them, which once overused would restrict their potential. On the second morning, Zhao Feng walked out of the room full of energy. Soon, there were servants sending food to him, and they were very polite. According to the rules of the Skyguards battalion, Zhao Feng received 10,000 pieces of silver and a few pills. Fortunately, today was the last day of the month and Zhao Feng got these items. The 10,000 silver was just for the 10th Skyguard. Apparently the rank higher would receive 1,000 silver more. The pills and resources he received were not much use for him since he had already reached the late stages of the 6th rank, so he decided to give some to Zhao Yufei. Hee, newbie, hand over half your items. From a wooden room not far away, a fairly handsome youth walked over. The youth was extremely clean and handsome. It was hard to believe he was one to say such words. Number 5 of the 10 Skyguards, Lu Xiaoyun. Lu Xiaoyun always takes resources from those ranked after him. The youths nearby discussed it. Zhao Feng also inspected this Lu Xiaoyun. He was only 14-15 years old, not much older than Zhao Feng, but he had already reached the peak 6th rank. If you have the ability to do so, Zhao Feng snickered. Newbie, don't think that you're good just because you beat Li Changfeng. Li Changfeng can't even exchange 3 moves with me. Lu Xiaoyu said slowly, and when he looked at Zhao Feng, it was with his chin. Obviously in his eyes, Zhao Feng was the same as Li Changfeng, 2 little mosquitoes. There was a certain amount of difference in strength between every rank. What's that got to do with me? Zhao Feng sneered and walked away in the other direction. If you want to fight, then do it. If not, then go away. What? Lu Xiaoyu's expression turned dim. Zhao Feng's was looking down on him. Only he had ever looked down on others and he had received the same treatment today. The anger in his heart surged. Humph! Lu Xiaoyu turned into a blur and disappeared. Who? Zhao Feng only felt a small gust of wind come from his side. So fast. In the blink of an eye, Lu Xiaoyu had blocked Zhao Feng's path. To have such speed meant that his peak-ranked speed skill had reached the high level. Lightly micro-step. Zhao Feng left an afterimage behind as he dodged Lu Xiaoyu's attack. Seems like you're not that worthless. Lu Xiaoyu was pretty shocked because his peak-ranked martial art had reached the high level and apart from number 1 Feng Hanyue, no one could beat him in terms of speed. But he found out that Zhao Feng's high-ranked speed skill had reached the max level and its effect was even higher than his. Shua! Shua! The two figures intertwined, but none of them could beat the other. Thunderbolt Fist. Lu Xiaoyu suddenly used a peak-ranked martial art and as he did so, the sky rumbled. Star Finger. Zhao Feng instantly used his Star Finger and at the same time, he pushed the power of his metal wall technique near the 5th level. Even with all that, he still wasn't able to fully block the Thunderbolt Fist. Hong. The sound of Lu Xiaoyu's fists became louder and louder as his peak 6th rank cultivation had the upper hand. Zhao Feng had suppressed his cultivation to the peak 5th level, so he was unable to confront him straight on. Just as Zhao Feng was thinking if he should use some of his hidden strength. Stop! A commanding voice came from the side. The owner of the voice was a bald-headed youth with a robe of silver that shone under the sunlight. It's number 2 Lei Kong. Fear appeared on the youth's faces. The two fighting also stopped. Zhao Feng clearly saw the wariness and fear inside Lu Xiaoyu's eyes. The bald-headed youth had reached the peak 6th rank and he had touched the barrier of the 7th. He was number 2 of the 10 Sky Guards, Lei Tsong. Facing him, both Zhao Feng and Lu Xiaoyu felt the pressure emitting from him. Lei Tsong, why did you stop our battle? Lu Xiaoyu questioned. Lei Tsong shook his head. The overseer has ordered the 10 Sky Guards to gather to discuss something. Gathering of the 10 Sky Guards? Curiosity and shock appeared on everyone's faces. The Sky Guards battalion never had had such a situation before. What did they want to discuss? Soon, Zhao Feng followed Lei Tsong to the building at the center of the field. This was the one and only building on the field and at the same time, it was where the supervisor lived. Entering the building, there were already a few youths there and all of them had reached the 6th rank. The people present were all part of the 10 Sky Guards. Who's this brat? One or two youths seemed to reject Zhao Feng. He beat Li Chongfeng and became one of the 10 Sky Guards. Lu Xiaoyu said expressionlessly. He beat Li Chongfeng? This brat was also one of the 10 Sky Guards. The youths present took back their cockiness. Soon, 9 people including Zhao Feng arrived with Lei Tsong having the strongest cultivation. Why isn't Feng Hanyue coming? One person asked. Even though he's lazy, he should still be here. Feng Hanyue was the number 1 genius of the 10 Sky Guards. Just as they were questioning this, a beautiful youth with silver hair walked in. At first, Zhao Feng felt that this person was a girl, but the second the youth released his aura, Zhao Feng felt it the air become denser. Every action the beautiful youth made gave off a powerful aura, as if his inner strength would come pouring out with just a thought. Zhao Feng took in a cold breath. This Feng Hanyue had reached the 7th rank. The 7th rank. The other 9 didn't dare look at Feng Hanyue in the eye. So strong. He's not even 16 and he is already a martial master. Zhao Feng couldn't explain the shock. From the experience he had in Sunfeather City, most cultivators never broke through to the 7th rank and stayed at the peak 6th rank until they died. For example, although many of the so-called 10 Sky Guards were at the peak 6th rank, they may stay like this for tens of years or forever. One could see how hard it was to become a martial master, but someone in the Sky Guards battalion had become one at only 16 years old. As Feng Hanyue arrived, he casually scanned across the others and looked at the new face for a second more, but didn't do anything. In his eyes, even geniuses such as Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyun were nothing. What do you think the discussion's about? I heard that Lord Guanjuan will be coming out of secluded meditation next month. Could it be related to this? A few of the smart youths already had their guesses. Skyguard's battalion was a special force in the Guanjuan Palace, and it had two aims. One was to raise geniuses, and the other was to supply new blood for the Guanjuan Corps. The creator of this organization was Lord Guanjuan himself. "Everyone's here." A cold, emotionless voice echoed in the building. Schwa. The youths only felt a blur before a person appeared. Third Guard. The 10 Sky Guards bowed their heads, including Feng Hanyue. Third Guard was only a nickname and represent this person. Everyone knew that Lord Guanjuan had 18 Guanjuan Corps, and they helped him in the darkness. Any one of them were martial masters, and their strength was far more powerful than normal martial masters. The guard that had appeared on the summit that day was ranked 17th, but he had beaten the Chiu family elder in 2 moves. The third guard in front of them had even stronger strength. "You should all know that Lord Guanjuan will come out of secluded meditation in 1 month." The guard's voice was simple, straightforward. Of course they knew. The youths present nodded their heads full of expectancy. Lord Guanjuan was a legend in the Cloud Country, and he had already received the title Unbeatable. His fame even spread to neighboring countries. "There's one piece of news I want to announce. When Lord Guanjuan comes out, he will take in 1 or a few disciples out of you all." Envy appeared in his eyes as he said this. Lord Guanjuan was taking in disciples? As soon as he finished his words, the youths flushed red with excitement. Many would die without regrets just to see Lord Guanjuan, and if they were able to receive pointers from him, that would be their dreams. But to become his disciple was something they never even dreamed about. After all, Lord Guanjuan had a high authority in this country, and he had apparently reached the holy martial path. Excitement shone on Zhao Feng's face. It looked like it was a good decision to come here. Here, he could interact with geniuses all over the country, and he had the chance to see the legendary Lord Guanjuan. "There's still 1 month. The Sky Guards battalion is giving you a chance at actual combat." When he spoke, a smile appeared on his lips. Actual combat? The 10 were all curious and expectant at the same time. Being at the Sky Guards battalion, they had many chances to spar and fight. But they hadn't experienced many life and death situations. There have been some bandits around lately, with all of them at the 4th rank or higher. There's also suspicions of them being sent by our neighboring country, Maple Fire Country. Your mission is to eliminate these bandits, while protecting the nearby villages at the same time. Third Guard spoke. Bandits? Sent by neighboring countries? Although they were curious, most of them were excited. "Sir Third Guard, why doesn't the Guanjuan Palace just send their troops over and crush them?" Lei Tsong asked his suspicions. "Good question," the man explained. "The bandits are extremely cunning, as they don't always appear at the same place every time. They also sometimes pretend to be commoners. Anyways, the chance of eliminating them by sending our troops over is very low. Therefore, the Guanjuan Palace has decided to give this chance to you youths." Hearing this, Zhao Feng understood immediately. The Guanjuan Palace gave this mission to them because they lacked combat experience. "I hope that through this your potential will be further revealed." The Guanjuan Palace had set this up so for any bandit of the 4th rank you kill, you receive 1 battle point. For every 5th rank you kill, you receive 2 battle points. If you're able to kill the leader, you get 20 battle points. Those that rank highest get extra rewards. Third Guard continued. "May I ask, what do battle points do?" One of the youths asked. "You can spend the battle points at the Treasury Hall, where you can exchange it for martial arts, resources, and weapons. For example, 1 battle points can be exchanged for 1 500-year-old blood plant. 10 battle points can get you a peak-ranked martial art. 50 battle points can get you a half-holy martial art." The man answered. Hearing this, the blood of the youths boiled. Peak-ranked martial arts. Half-holy martial arts. All of them felt moved. Every one of them all had more or less 1 peak-ranked martial art, but it was limited to either speed, defense, or offensive. Therefore, peak-ranked martial arts were extremely precious for them. Although there was an incomplete holy martial art in Zhao Feng's left eye, its actual use wasn't even better than a half-holy martial art. Furthermore, battle points could be exchanged for weapons and resources. It looks like the Guanjuan Palace had decided to properly raise these geniuses. Just killing a few bandits alone can give you battle points which can be exchanged for such precious resources. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. He was extremely looking forward to this mission. The fact that he had his mysterious left eye gave him a better survival rate. The mission starts 5 days from now. Go and get ready. Third guard then explained the details in depth more. Then he gave the disbanding order. After the discussion was over, the news spread amongst the Skyguards battalion. The mission wasn't limited to just the 10 Skyguards, but the 10 Skyguards led the squads. For the next few days, the members of the Skyguards battalion started to form teams in accordance to how the rewards were split. Some of the strongest teams included Lei Zong's and Lu Xiaoyu's, in which all the people were of the 4th rank or higher. Obviously, there were still people going solo such as Feng Hanyue, the number 1 of the 10 Skyguards. Feng Hanyue was the only martial master, therefore his strength alone beat a team's. Because Zhao Feng had just arrived, he formed a team with Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi, but the strength of his team was incomparable to Lei Zong's and Lu Xiaoyu's. However, Zhao Feng had confidence that his battle points would still be one of the top. As the mission was just a few days away, Zhao Feng ate one of the other 1,000-year plants. 3 days later, the green ray of light in the dimension of his left eye had reached 6'9". At this time, Zhao Feng still had one more plant, but he didn't use it because, firstly, continuous use of resources meant that the effect would decrease. Secondly, Zhao Feng would rather save it for the critical moment when he would be trying to reach the 7th rank. My cultivation is at the late stages of the 6th rank, but there's still a bit of distance to the peak. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. Therefore, he became even more expectant of the mission, as one's potential would be fully unleashed through life and death battles. In the blink of an eye, the 5 days given to prepare passed. Another surprising thing was that Zhao Yufei had broken through to the 6th rank 2 days ago with the help of Zhao Feng's resources. Morning. All the youths of the 4th rank or higher split into small teams and left the Guanjun Palace. The group of 3 formed up by Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were also in it. Brother Feng, is your real cultivation only at the peak 5th rank? Zhao Yufei asked her suspicions. Back in the Zhao family, she clearly knew how fast Zhao Feng progressed, but she had reached the 6th rank already. So how could Zhao Feng still be at the peak 5th rank? Hearing this, Huang Qi was also interested. You're right. This isn't my real cultivation. Zhao Feng didn't hide it either and released his true aura. Peak 6th rank. Both Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi felt the pressure bearing towards them. Zhao Feng's aura was extremely dense and heavy. It brought more pressure than other peak 6th ranks. After he released his or Zhao Feng hit it once more, suppressing it to the beginning of the 6th rank, the same as Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. Zhao Feng showed his teammates his true strength to gain more trust. Now that he hidden it away, he could do sneak attacks in the battles coming. The 3 left the Guanjun province city and they arrived at its borderline after a few days of travel. This area was complicated with many trees, rivers, streams, cliffs and a few villages around. But this place was also the only path that led towards Maple Fire Country, so the bandits could have been sent by them. Once we leave this village, we'll be entering the danger area where the bandits lurk. Zhao Feng opened up his map and discussed with Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. Hee, Lady Yufei. Do you have the interest to join my team? A clear, arrogant laughter sounded. Zhao Feng and the other 2 turned around and found Lu Xiaoyu leading a team of 7 to 8 people passing by. Lu Xiaoyu's voice made Zhao Feng's eyebrow scrunch up. Was he stealing people from right under his eyes? Obviously, Zhao Feng had to admit that the strength of his team was indeed strong. There were 3 to 4 members of the 4th rank and the rest were all peak 5th ranks. Lu Xiaoyu's face was full of smiles as he inspected Zhao Yufei. There was no one that didn't know her in the Skyguards battalion. Thanks for your offer, but I already have my own team. Zhao Yufei expressionlessly rejected Lu Xiaoyu's offer. Rejected? Didn't this girl like the strong? Lu Xiaoyu was slightly surprised. He was handsome enough and adding the fact that he was extremely talented. Which girl would reject him? With the strength of you 3, you'd be hard-pressed to even fend for yourselves. Lu Xiaoyu glanced at Zhao Feng and Huang Qi with disdain. Thanks for your care, but my team have our own ways to survive. We'll speak with our battle points later. Zhao Feng said calmly. Battle points? Ha ha ha. You think a group like yours can be compared to ours? The youth of the peak 6th rank had tears of laughter in his eyes. He was Li Ziwen, ranked 7th within the 10 Sky Guards. Go! Zhao Feng didn't bother with their team, and he led Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi into the danger zone. Soon, they met a few other teams led by the 10 Sky Guards. Lei Tsong's team was even stronger with tens of people and 2 of the 10 Sky Guards. Facing such a setup, Huang Qi became a little uneasy. Brother Zhao, are you sure we'll be able to get some battle points? Huang Qi couldn't help but ask. In terms of number, they had only 3 people. If they were unlucky and met a group of 10 bandits, they'll face the danger of being eliminated. Relax, your battle points won't be low. Zhao Feng was fully confident. If you don't believe me, you can go join another team. Looking at the confident expression on Zhao Feng's face, Huang Qi's suspicions fell down a bit. Half an hour later, the 3 entered the danger zone. The landscape of this area was complex, but Zhao Feng didn't even look back as he passed through. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi had to take the map time after time to see if they were on the right track. But Zhao Feng didn't need to, as the map had already been photocopied into his mind, and with the magnifier of his left eye, he could see the real view. Brother Zhao, where are we going? Huang Qi felt dizzy as he looked at the map. There's a stream up there next to the canyon. Water and food is a must for these bandits. Zhao Feng said without hesitation. Su, and a river appeared, and not far away there was indeed a canyon. Huang Qi couldn't help but click his tongue. He never thought that Zhao Feng's memory was so good, and he had perfectly synchronized the map with the real landscape. We'll ambush here. Huang Qi, you go hide in the river. Yufei, you go hide between the rock near the entrance of the canyon. Zhao Feng soon gave the order. Zhao Yufei didn't have any suspicions, and she hid between the rocks. Huang Qi hesitated for a bit, but he still jumped into the river. Sang! Zhao Feng jumped onto a tree and took his golden stairs bow out and aimed it in the direction of the canyon. In reality, he had already seen suspicious people coming from the canyon with his left eye. A while later, from the direction of the canyon came the sound of footsteps, and a few men dressed as commoners appeared. There was a total of 3 people, with the leader reaching the peak 5th rank, and on his left and right were 2 others at the 4th and 5th rank respectively. The 3 came next to the river and began to drink. Attack! Zhao Feng pulled the string and let an arrow loose. The bow trembled as a golden arrow pierced through the sky and made a perfect arc. The arrow lodged itself in the skinny man's shoulder, and he fell down with a plop. Ambush! The leader yelled as he surveyed his surroundings. Hua! At this moment, a youth appeared from the stream. Cloud-defying palm. Huang Qi attacked from the side and collided with the leader's attack head-on. Pa! Because it was unexpected, the leader received some light injuries. 13 legs of the willow. Huang Qi attacked while he had the advantage with his peak-level high-ranked martial art. Ma-san, I'll come help you. The last man attacked from the side. But just at this moment, another arrow pierced through the air and scraped past the fat person's clothes. So close. The fat man did a flip and just managed to dodge the arrow. Watch out for the archer in the dark. The skinny man moaned in pain. The arrow before had hit one of his acupuncture points, so he couldn't use any inner strength. You guys retreat and report the situation. The leading man spoke to the fat one as he blocked one of Huang Qi's moves. You be careful, Ma-san. The fat person immediately turned around and ran back the way he came from. Where are you running? From the rocks came out a beautiful girl and blocked the fat man's path. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi both engaged the enemies. Huang Qi's opponent had reached the peak 5th rank, and he was very experienced with many hidden moves. Zhao Yufei's opponent had trained some sort of body-strengthening technique, which gave him extreme strength. Zhao Feng stood in the trees, one hand on his bow, but he didn't attack because he had considered the fact that the other 2 had no experience in life and death battles. These 2 bandits were full of tricks, and although their cultivation was lower, they didn't lose immediately. Around 10 moves later, spiritual wind slice. Zhao Yufei used her peak-ranked martial art and managed to knock the fat man out. The enemy that Huang Qi faced was slightly harder, and he was only defeated after 20 moves. Tang! Only at this time did Zhao Feng come out from the trees. Why didn't you attack? Huang Qi was slightly irritated. Zhao Feng had only shot out the first 2 arrows, then he didn't support them at all. You two need to think about how you fight. You spent way too much time defeating others with lower cultivation than you. Zhao Feng said calmly. You. Huang Qi wanted to rebuke him, but he couldn't think of anything to say. The opponent had too many tricks up his sleeve, and he would have lost if it wasn't because he had the advantage in martial arts and cultivation. Brother Feng's right, we lack combat experience. Zhao Yufei nodded her head in agreement. Next, the 3 scavenged the items off the bandits' bodies and found various items such as poisonous medicine, hidden blades, etc. Forgive me. The one that had been shot first bowed down repeatedly. Pooh. Zhao Feng stabbed his throat with 1 finger. Take care of 1 each. Zhao Feng glanced towards Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. These 2 were geniuses and they were protected by their families ever since they were young, so they had virtually no experience in combat or killing. Huang Qi hesitated for a while, but clenched his teeth and finished off the leader. If he didn't kill the leader, he couldn't get any battle points. But Zhao Yufei was after all a girl, so unwillingness appeared on his face. Please don't kill me, beautiful lady. The fat bandit screamed sadly, which made her unable to kill him. Zhao Feng only laughed coldly, but he didn't say anything. Metal Eagle Claw. Light shone in the bandit's eyes as his figure suddenly pounced towards Zhao Yufei with his hand heading straight towards her throat. The sudden change drained the color on Zhao Yufei's face. Spiritual wind slice. Her jade-like hands waved and the head of the bandit fell off. Both Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi felt like vomiting after their first kill. Only Zhao Feng's face was the same as usual. He was slightly shocked as he remembered that he didn't have such reactions when he first killed someone. Back at the Sky Cloud Forest, Zhao Feng was extremely calm during the assassination. After he thought about it, Zhao Feng had to give the credit to his left eye. Their first battle was victorious and both Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi learned heaps. On the same day, the 3 continued to stay around the same area, but they would change positions. When afternoon arrived, the team of 3 had defeated a total of 7 people, 4 of the 5th rank and 3 of the 4th rank. After the battles, both Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei made major improvements and the teamwork between them was much better. Zhao Feng secretly nodded his head. It finally seemed better. Tonight, we'll go to the interior of the canyon. According to my analysis, there are a high possibility of a bandit headquarters there, which may still have some people left. Zhao Feng once again gave each of them a task. The first task was gathering news, which Zhao Feng decided to do himself. With his powerful left eye, he wasn't only a born archer, he was also a born scout too. In the time it takes to boil a pot of water, Zhao Feng had gone and come back. Come. This was all Zhao Feng said as he led Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi to the interior of the canyon. On the way, Zhao Feng kept going through the paths where the bandits wouldn't see them. This gave Huang Qi a feeling that could all the bandits have already died? Soon, Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi hid behind a massive rock. There's bandits inside the wooden room and the cave over there, Zhao Feng said to the 2. Haha, we're ambushing again? How many of them are there and how strong are they? Huang Qi rubbed his hands together. They had ambushed so many people today that he was fully confident they would win. 1 person of the peak 6th rank, 2 normal 6th rank, 3 5th ranks, 5 4th ranks. A total of 11. Zhao Feng reported. What? 11? Huang Qi's eyes bulged out as his cheek muscle twitched. Are you crazy? That is a nest of bandits. Run. Are you crazy? That is a nest of bandits. Run. Huang Qi almost turned insane. His eyes were full of anger, and he wanted to curse Zhao Feng's entire family. These 11 fierce, deadly bandits weren't something that the youths could compare to. The 3 6th rankers alone would be troublesome for them, and there still were many cultivators of the 4th and 5th rank. Brother Feng, it's too dangerous. You're not joking, right? Zhao Yufei was shocked. Through the encounters they had with the bandits, they understood their deadly methods. Run. Retreat. We can still do it now. Huang Qi's heart felt like it was on fire. If they were found by the bandits, they would receive an unimaginable destiny. Zhao Yufei's face was extremely pale and subconsciously gripped his hand. Why did you bring us here if you knew this place was full of bandits? Be quiet. There's 11 bandits here, but they're not together. You just have to follow my plan and we'll destroy them all. Zhao Feng's tone was very calm. I'm not listening to you. I want to run away. Huang Qi's heart was cold with fear. At this moment, they could already see the figures moving around the wooden rooms through the cracks of the rocks. Brother sure. The brothers that went to hunt aren't back yet. A blockhead of the 6th rank called. They're probably never going to come back then if they haven't returned in 2 hours. Within the room came a deep sound from a middle-aged man. Be on alert. I fear that the enemy might have followed the trails to here. The voices could be heard by the 3 hiding behind the rocks. He looks like there's no way back, so you have to listen to my plan. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. Huang Qi grinded his teeth. He now hated Zhao Feng because he knew the latter had planned for this to happen. I'll listen to Brother Feng. Instant trust could be seen in Zhao Yufei's eyes. Damn it! Huang Qi's heart dropped as Zhao Yufei agreed. If a lady like her wasn't even scared, then how could he? You two go over and finish off the 4th and 5th ranks fast. But don't fight against the 6th ranks, especially the middle-aged peak 6th rank leader. Zhao Feng told them the plan. So what are you doing when we go over? Huang Qi asked suspiciously. I'll be behind you too. Supporting you. Zhao Feng gave a smile. No shit. Huang Qi almost didn't curse out loud while Zhao Yufei and he were going to kill the enemy. This guy, the leader of the team, was going to hide behind them? How could he do this? No way. What would happen if Zhao Feng ran away because he saw that they were too hard to deal with? Okay. It's settled then. As soon as he finished his words, Huang Qi was pushed out with a pa. Ah! Huang Qi screamed and his figure was seen. At this moment, he had cursed all of Zhao Feng's ancestors. Kill! He had nowhere to go, so he attacked towards the bandits near the wooden rooms. Who's there? The bandits nearby soon found the two. Come! Enemy attack. Sounds of fighting rang. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi attacked the bandits of the 4th and 5th rank. According to Zhao Feng's plan, they had to kill them fast. Once they were held up by them, the stronger ones would arrive and they would be killed for sure. Under this pressure, the two's battle power exceeded what they usually had. Ah! The instant the two forces clashed together, a 4th ranker and 5th ranker were slain. So, at the same time, Zhao Feng stood on top of the big rock and released an arrow. Plop! A peak 5th rank cultivator fell to the ground. What was shocking was that this arrow perfectly stopped the attack that Zhao Yufei was about to face from behind her. Brats, you dare to attack us. Don't think that any one of you will leave today? A bulk, muscular middle-aged man walked out of the wooden room and led the other 2 6th ranks over. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei instantly felt the pressure emitting from them. The middle-aged man's aura was even stronger. It was on par with the top 5-10 skyguards or even the top 3. So. 3 arrows pierced through the air and headed straight at the 3 6th ranks. Dang! The leader used his blade to block the arrow, but the other 2 6th ranks next to him had been slightly injured. This golden stairs bow is indeed not bad. I've only used 70 to 80% of my strength and I haven't put any inner strength in it. Zhao Feng had a faint smile on his face. Every time he released an arrow, a bandit would fall. At the same time, both Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi became engaged in a tough battle, but Zhao Feng supported them from behind. So they didn't reach a desperate state. I'll leave the boy and girl to you. I'll go get the archer. The middle-aged bandit leader immediately saw that Zhao Feng was the most threatening one. Zhao Feng steadily pulled out 3 arrows and shot them at the 3 6th ranks again. Dang! 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 The 3 6th ranks once again blocked Zhao Feng's attack, but it gave Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi time to take a breath. When the middle-aged man reached Zhao Feng, there were only 4 to 5 bandits left. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were both in an extremely dangerous situation. Water wave slash. The leading bandit's sword seemed like the sea as waves after waves of power surged through it. His sword level had almost reached the max level and the skill was almost at the peak rank too. Open. Zhao Feng waved his golden hair bow with the addition of strength from his metal wall technique. Dang, the force sent the middle-aged bandit back a few steps. The casual swipe of the golden stairs bow not only contained power from metal wall technique, It also had an unspeakable aura as if it became one with its surroundings. Hee hee. Zhao Feng gently smiled. Then he jumped into the air and pulled the string of his bow. So, an arrow went straight into the chest of a bandit near the wooden houses. At the same time, the arrow managed to resolve the desperate situation Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were in. Although Zhao Feng killed one, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi still faced 4 bandits including 2 of the 6th rank. It's about right. Zhao Feng didn't think of helping the 2 any further, and the middle-aged leader wouldn't let him do so as well. Star Finger! Zhao Feng exclaimed as he put the bow away and engaged the middle-aged bandit in close combat. The opponent's strength had reached the peak 6th rank and he had unlimited hidden moves. Normal 6th rankers might not even be able to block one move of his. Zhao Feng found that when he used Star Finger to the peak 3rd level, he still couldn't gain the upper hand, but his advantage was obvious too. The 5th level of the metal wall technique also had a small rebound which fended off the furious attacks of the enemy. But the middle-aged man didn't run. With his battle experience, he knew that if he ran, he had a lower survival rate. Firstly, Zhao Feng was a godly archer and to run in front of one was retarded. Secondly, Zhao Feng's speed was faster than his. The middle-aged man decided to engage in close combat and put some hope in his comrades to finish the 2 brats off and support him here. Both Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi had a hard time as they faced 2 6th rankers, 1 4th rank and 1 5th rank. But they were geniuses after all. Under the pressure, they became more accustomed to it and steadily regained their composure. Soon, the cultivator of the 4th rank was slain by Zhao Yufei, which let them have a slight break as they only had to face 1 5th rank and 2 6th ranks now. But their expressions turned serious once more as they looked in the direction of Zhao Feng. If it were any one of them apart from Zhao Feng, they probably couldn't even exchange up to 20 moves. One line Star Finger. Zhao Feng's move this time reached the edges of the 4th level. Shwa! A deep gash was left on the middle-aged bandit. But that made him go insane, which propelled him to attack more powerfully, without consideration for his own injuries. The leader was putting his life on the line and he even headed towards the path of perishing together. The determination he had would make most opponents wary, but Zhao Feng wasn't normal. He still remained calm as he opened his left eye. 10 moves later, the injuries on the middle-aged bandit became heavier and an error was finally found by Zhao Feng. Plop! The bandit fell to the ground and before he could struggle, a finger pierced through his heart. These bastards still have some skills. Zhao Feng let out a breath. The battle between Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi also came to an ending. They knew that Zhao Feng would most likely not help, so they used their killing moves and finally killed the last 3 bandits remaining. So, Zhao Feng slew the one bandit trying to run away with his bow. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei fell to the ground exhausted, but joy and happiness could be seen in their eyes. The nest of 11 bandits had been cleared. The almost impossible mission had been finished. The 2 looked at Zhao Feng full of admiration and awe because they knew this was Zhao Feng's plan and he had played an important role in supporting them. At the same time, behind a rock a few hundred yards away, a silver figure hiding there took in a cold breath. These 3 brats took down a whole nest, 6 of the 11 bandits, including that peak 6th rank bandits who had been killed by the youth named Zhao Feng. After the intense fight, the 3 remained at the same spot to rest. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi had both received some injuries. Only Zhao Feng remained unharmed, which made the other 2 realize the gap between them. What shocked them more was that Zhao Feng had only used the power of the early stages of the 6th rank to kill the leading bandit and not the peak of the 6th rank. It could be seen that Zhao Feng's strength was at the quasi-martial master rank at least. The 3 cleared the battlefield and then divided the battle points. Because Zhao Feng had killed the leader, it wasn't the main leader, so it was only worth 5 battle points. There was a total of 6 who were killed by Zhao Feng. They included 2 4th ranks, 2 5th ranks, and 2 6th ranks. Adding them on the previous ones, Zhao Feng's battle points had reached over 20 points. And according to the rules, 10 points could be exchanged for a peak-ranked martial art. Half an hour later. We should leave now, it's not good to stay here for so long, Zhao Feng ordered as he was the team captain. Yes. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei both agreed immediately. They now trusted Zhao Feng completely. Tang, sang, sang. The three increased their speed and soon, they left the canyon. 2 hours later after the three left, 3 black figures flew across the dark sky and landed in front of the wooden room. Leader. The 11 men, including Sherbadeo, have died with half of them succumbing to an archer. The voice of one of the black shadows was cold and expressionless. Who dare touch my desolate destruction bandits? One of the figures slowly lifted his palm and a powerful air wave ripped every Thinjin a radius of several meters. The 2 black figures felt the pressure, although they weren't any weaker than the middle-aged man that just died. Hong! The bulky figure waved his hand and the houses in front collapsed. At that moment, the aura from the bulky figure was on par with high-tier deadly beasts. Lord Desolate! The other 2 quasi-martial masters' heart jumped. Find out the killer. I'll dish back to them what they did to my men 10 times stronger. The angry, cold voice sounded in the wind. At the same time, mysterious youths, who were split into teams, took the lives of bandits. Everyone from the Skyguards battalion had extreme potential. Under this environment they grew stronger quickly, but there were also casualties as well. Apart from those in the 10 Skyguards, 7 to 8 silver figures merged into the night to calculate the total battle points. At night, Zhao Feng's eyesight was still perfect, but considering the fact that Bak Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were tired, he decided not to attack. The 3 found a pretty secure place where they decided to rest with no bandits around. The second day, the team of 3 once again started looking for bandits. What's going here? Why are there less and less bandits around? Zhao Feng soon found a problem. They had scouted around for a long time and instead of meeting bandits, they met other teams. Huang Qi said deeply. It must be because the Skyguards battalion killed too many bandits last night and the others have hidden themselves. Zhao Feng nodded his head and found this thought very logical. If those bandits hid in the mountains, it would be hard to find them even with his left eye. We have to go in deeper. Zhao Feng still led the way. At times, he would jump onto trees and survey their surroundings. Suddenly, tens of miles away, a rainbow-colored smoke appeared which attracted his attention. It's the emergency signal from another team, Zhao Yufei exclaimed. Go to the rescue. Zhao Feng was the first one to sprint off in the direction, but his expression changed as he opened his left eye. The group that was in danger was Lu Xiaoyu's. The 7 to 8 youths of the Skyguards battalion were surrounded by a group of 15 bandits. There were 2 black-clothed bandits that had reached the quasi-martial master rank and 3 third ranks, while the rest were at the 4th and 5th. At this moment, both sides were battling each other, but the youths couldn't charge out. Luckily, a group of 4 that were nearby raced over, giving them a bit of hope. But right at this moment, 3 or 4 bandit archers hiding in the forest shot their arrows. A few of the Skyguards battalion members were injured. Cloud swaying fist. Lu Xiaoyu forced the bandits back with his peak-ranked martial art, which had been trained to the peak level. But he couldn't kill them as one of the quasi-martial masters was keeping him busy. Boss, there's 3 more brats coming. An archer in hiding in the woods told the 2 black-clothed figures. The 3 that came were Zhao Feng's team. Through his left eye, Zhao Feng analyzed the straightest path and gradually closed in. When he was within 100 yards, Zhao Feng suddenly stopped and took out his bow. So. Zhao Feng continuously pulled his bow and perfectly shot the archers hiding in the woods, giving Lu Xiaoyu's team time to get in a few breaths. Kill. The bandits and the youths engaged in battle. With Zhao Feng and the other team joining in, the Skyguards battalion side gradually had the advantage. The youths became braver and braver as time went on. A bunch of brats. All of you stay. A deep cold voice resounded from the forest. Shua. A great pressure came from the other side of the forest, which made the heart of the youths jump. The owner of the voice was an one-eyed man wearing a black cloak. Not good. It's a martial master. Lu Xiaoyu's face turned pale as his heart twitched. The person coming was the boss of bandits. Brat. Die. The one-eyed man flew over and his aura made the youths unable to breathe. Breaking wind palm. With a sound as loud as thunder, The palm headed straight towards Lu Xiaoyu. "Everyone, block it!" Lu Xiaoyu exclaimed, and he combined forces with Li Ziwen to block the attack. Pong! The explosion caused a wave of air that pushed through everything in its path, including Li Ziwen and Lu Xiaoyu, who were sent 7 to 8 meters back. Wah! The two who had taken the hit head-on, Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen, both spat out a mouthful of blood. These two were ranked 5th and 7th in the 10 Sky Guards, and their strength were around the Quasi-Martial Master, but even the 2 Quasi-Martial Masters, with the help of many other 6th ranks, weren't able to block this one move. "Zhao Feng, Lu Chun, come and help!" Lu Xiaoyu shouted and asked for help from Zhao Feng and the leader of the other group. The teams were all led by at least one of the 10 Sky Guards, and at this time, including Zhao Feng and Lu Chun, there were 5 of the 10 Sky Guards present. Bang! Zhao Feng pulled the string of his bow from far away, and he put his inner strength into it. The power of this arrow could harm the lives of quasi-martial masters. Illusion Wind Blade. The other leader used his max-level high-ranked martial art and attacked from the back. Cloud Shattering Fist. Lu Xiaoyu immediately used a fist skill, while Li Ziwen next to him used a sword. The attack of the 5 great geniuses reached the one-eyed man. "Where did these geniuses come from?" the one-eyed man exclaimed, and at the same time, he circulated his chaotic inner strength. Blang! The arrow of Zhao Feng's snapped into pieces. Dong dong dong. All the attacks were blocked, and once again they were sent flying. What strength! Zhao Feng was pretty shocked. A martial master could release his inner strength and create long-range attacks. If any one of them was to face one alone, they might lose their lives in 2 moves. At this time, both Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen received light injuries. The inner strength from martial masters of the 7th rank could strike like lightning and instantly turn those of the 4th and 5th rank into dust. Only Zhao Feng didn't need to fight close combat, as he pulled his bow repetitively, and every arrow would fly towards the smallest flaws of the one-eyed man. The full power of Zhao Feng shooting his arrows threatened the movement of the one-eyed bandit. "Bastard! It looks like the one that killed my men in the canyon was you." The one-eyed man suddenly turned around with killing intent in his eyes. "So what if it was me?" Zhao Feng laughed coldly. "Kill!" The bandit didn't bother with the attacks from the other youths and headed straight at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng jumped up in fright, and he immediately circulated lightly floating fairy to escape. "Don't run!" The one-eyed man still came close, and close though, because he was a martial master and therefore he was faster. Shattering Mountain Palm. The palm of the martial master shot through the air and headed towards Zhao Feng. If it was another cultivator of the same rank, just the inner strength alone could kill him, but Zhao Feng wasn't normal. Mysterious Wind Palm. Zhao Feng flipped around midair, and in his mind, the image of the palm from that girl appeared. He then took a deep breath as an azure glow formed on his palm, and then the two heavily collided with each other. Boom! Zhao Feng's figure was washed away in the wind, but using this power, he flew out of the range of the second attack of the one-eyed man. This palm. The one-eyed man stiffened for a second because he felt his force had been sliced up and destroyed. The mysterious wind palm Zhao Feng had learnt exceeded the peak rank. Zhao Feng had only learnt a bit of it, but after training the 4 incomplete holy martial arts, he found that it was easier. In terms of power alone, Mysterious Wind Palm wasn't stronger than Starfinger, but it suppressed the other skills in terms of profoundness, and adding on the fact that he had reached the 5th level of Metal Wall Technique, he was able to retreat safely. Zhao Feng's performance gained cheers from the other geniuses. To be able to take a hit from a martial master and retreat unharmed was a great feat. "You can't run away, boy. I only used 60% of my strength just then." The voice from the one-eyed bandit echoed from behind. But Zhao Feng wasn't fighting alone. There were others from the 10 Sky Guards helping, and soon a gap formed between the two, which allowed Zhao Feng once again to pull his bow. So. This time, Zhao Feng used his archery's god's left eye skill, which made the arrows arc perfectly towards the bandit leader. What? The one-eyed bandit found that the arrows swayed with wind and broke through the weakest part of his defenses. Shwa! One of the arrows left a deep gash on his shoulder. This scene improved the morale of the Sky Guards battalion. "That guy's an archer." Lu Xiaoyu and company stopped for a second. Then they resumed their attacks. Sang. 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 At this time, another team appeared and it looked like it was even stronger than Lu Xiaoyu's team. It's Lei Tsong's team. Although they were pretty far away, the bald-headed silver figure could still be seen. Lei Tsong was ranked second in the 10 Sky Guards and he had almost reached the 7th rank. Retreat! The bandit leader gave the order immediately. His side was already struggling right now and with the addition of another even stronger team, they had no chance at all. Brat! I'll take your life any time. The one-eyed man glared coldly at Zhao Feng before leaving. Any time you wish. Zhao Feng replied and a cold azure light appeared on his left eye as he stared right back at the bandit. What's going on? The bandit trembled and felt like his heart had been stabbed by a sword, but as he was on the verge on retreating, he didn't think about it much. What was that? Zhao Feng felt pain pulse through his left eye and he found that he had lost a lot of mental energy. He didn't know what kind of skill he had used just then. All he felt was that his mental energy had been consumed up quickly, but he had also seen the dazed look and fear in the bandit's eye. Zhao Feng slowly closed his eyes and found that the green ray of light in his eye had extended to 6'9", infinitely close to 7. Good! Joy appeared on his face. Because he had fought with the one-eyed leader just then, his cultivation had increased to the peak 6th rank. Now, his real cultivation was the same as Lei Tsong, ranked 2nd of the 10 Sky Guards. Ha ha ha! You can't leave and go as you please. From the bushes 1 to 2 miles away, a beautiful silver-haired youth appeared. The youth looked like a girl and he had a terrifying aura as he stood on top of a tree. Feng Hanyue, the youths of the Sky Guards battalion exclaimed. He was a youth 15 or 16 years old. He was a martial master of the 7th rank. 7th rank. The one-eyed bandit looked shocked and sad at the same time. He was 28 years old when he had reached the 7th rank and at that time, he was extremely proud of himself. But seeing Feng Hanyue, all his confidence and arrogance were popped like popping bubbles. His achievements were nothing compared to the youth in front of him. What kind of backgrounds did these youths have? The one-eyed man sensed that something was wrong. If there were 1 or 2 geniuses that appeared, it may have been a coincidence. But if they all appeared at the same time, even retards would know something was wrong. Illusion Sky Stance. A silver glow came from Feng Hanyue's body and in an instant, he appeared in front of the bandit. The speed made the heart of the boss of bandits shake because this skill was a true holy martial art, although it wasn't fully learnt yet. Shattering Mountain Palm. He didn't hold any of his power back this time and he clashed head-on with Feng Hanyue. Boom! The two figures humphed as they split apart. Don't think you can leave. Feng Hanyue immediately used an incomplete holy martial art and chased after him. The two figures, one running away, one chasing, disappeared into the forest. Only Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng were able to keep up with the two. If I can kill this bandit, I can get 20 battle points. Zhao Feng circulated lightly floating fairy to the max and unleashed his peak 6th rank cultivation at the same time. Soon, the figures merged into the vast forest, leaving behind a bunch of tired youths. That Zhao Feng doesn't seem to be weaker than Lei Kong. A few youths discussed. Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen exchanged glances and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Before they left, they had laughed at Zhao Feng's team, but they hadn't thought that he would be so strong. On the other side, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong tried to surround the bandit from either side while he was tangled by Feng Hanyue. Feng Hanyue had gained some insight into an incomplete holy martial art, and it was a speed one at that too. So the bandit knew he couldn't escape. Don't force me. The one-eyed leader howled and used an unknown secret skill which increased his attributes. Breaking Mountain Unlimited. The leader exploded and unleashed the most powerful attack that he had, which clashed heavily with Feng Hanyue. Dang! Feng Hanyue's body trembled and fell down onto the ground tens of meters away with blood leaking from his mouth. Die! The bandit held the blood in his mouth down and attacked Feng Hanyue. Not good! The silver figure hiding in the forest exclaimed. Shush! Suddenly, a faint azure arrow pierced through the bandit's shield of inner strength and lodged into his leg. Arg! The one-eyed bandit screamed and almost fell down from the sky. The arrow had hit an acupuncture point on his leg, and if it wasn't for his dense inner strength, This arrow could have paralyzed his entire lower body. Fucking bastard! The bandit flipped in the air and decided to run away. The arrow Zhao Feng just shot contained his archery god's left eye skill. It not only resolved the situation Feng Hanyue was in, it also forced the one-eyed bandit leader to run away. You be careful. Feng Hanyue glanced at Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong, then sat down and started to recover. Soon, there was only Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong facing the bandit, but the latter's speed was just too fast. Although this was the case, Zhao Feng could clearly see that the enemy was on the verge of defeat. His left eye saw the situation inside the bandit's body. His veins and organs were damaged from the use of his secret technique. Fuck! These brats are just too persistent. The one-eyed bandit clenched his teeth. Although his speed was fast and he knew the surroundings well, he couldn't shake Zhao Feng off. On the contrary, Zhao Feng was inching closer and closer. If that's the case, a dangerous light flashed in the one-eyed man's eyes as he took a deep breath and ate a pill while sitting down. 10 breaths later, Zhao Feng appeared 200 to 300 meters out. So, Zhao Feng pulled his golden stairs bow and used his archery god's left eye skill. His archery god's left eye skill could threaten martial masters of the 7th rank while he was only at the 6th. Die, brat! The bandit forcefully suppressed his injuries as he snapped the arrows and pounced on Zhao Feng. So. Zhao Feng continuously pulled his bow and shot 3 arrows which seemed like 3 lightning strikes. Furthermore, the 3 arrows all traveled in different paths and headed towards different locations and different times. Die! The bandit snapped the first arrow, dodged the second, and he was now very close to Zhao Feng now. Shoo! The last arrow scraped past his shoulder. It only stopped him momentarily. A victory smile appeared on the bandit's face. As long as he got close to Zhao Feng, he had complete confidence that he could take him down in a short amount of time. One line star finger. The youth in his sight pressed forward instead of retreating, and suddenly, he gave off a thick, powerful aura. At that moment, Zhao Feng's peak 6th rank aura was fully unleashed. Shwa! The green line was like a string as it streaked across the night like a meteor. This had surpassed the limits of 6th rankers as Starfinger had reached the late stages of the 4th level. Flowing wind stance. Zhao Feng merged his skill into the wind, which made the skill even faster. Just as the bandit smiled, his eye saw this and contracted. Shoo! An azure light hit the one-eyed bandit's forehead. Plume! The body of the bandit stiffened as blood appeared at the center of his forehead. His eyes were still full of shock and terror, but the light in his eye started to dim. Plop! The one-eyed bandit fell onto the ground. His breathing had stopped before he reached the ground. At the same time, Zhao Feng landed on the ground as well. Hoo! He gently let out a breath and a faint azure light disappeared from his left eye. When he slew the one-eyed man, his left eye had been activated to its fullest potential and the flowing wind stance had merged into his finger, which made its strength comparable to martial masters. This was Zhao Feng's strongest attack ever. The boss of bandits would never have thought that Zhao Feng's Starfinger would reach the 4th level and that it could attack through the air. The abilities of his left eye had also caught the flaws of the enemy, and under this advantage, he had stabbed the forehead of his opponent. After killing him, Zhao Feng scavenged the items. No wonder the bandit, a martial master of the 7th rank. Just the silver he had alone was 200 to 300, 2 high-ranked martial arts and 1 peak-ranked martial art. Apart from that, Zhao Feng also found a bottle of precious recovery healing pills, which did what its name suggested. Zhao Feng spotted a letter in the items of the bandit. Opening it, the contents inside seemed to prove that he had a trade deal going on with a noble from the Maple Fire country. The battle points I gain from this should exceed 20, because there's evidence of him having connections with the Maple Fire country. Zhao Feng was very pleased as he moved the corpse to the side. So, at this time, a bald-headed silver-clothed youth came from the other side. Put it down, Lei Tsong ordered, trying to stop Zhao Feng's movement. What does Brother Lei have to say? Zhao Feng said calmly. The bandit was severely injured before, so the battle points and items should be split amongst us. Lei Tsong's face was cold and strict. Hearing this, Zhao Feng felt rage burn in his heart. this guy was trying to take battle points off him. When I fought the bandit, he still had 70 to 80% of his strength left and he was unleashing his last attacks, which made him even more dangerous. Zhao Feng said strongly as he stood in front of the dead body. He had taken a massive risk when he had fought the leader, so how could he give the battle points away? Ha ha ha. Brat named Zhao, there's no evidence of fighting here and the one-eyed bandit was killed with one finger. Do you think you could have done that? Furthermore, there's no injuries on you. So how could you easily block the last attacks of a martial master? Lei Tsong coldly said as lights twinkled in his eyes. Indeed, there were just too many suspicious points if Zhao Feng had really killed the leader. Firstly, the bandit had been killed with one finger without much resistance. Secondly, Zhao Feng didn't have any injuries and there were no marks of fighting. The last key point was when Zhao Feng slew the bandit leader. There was no other youths present including Lei Tsong himself. So. Slowly, youths began to gather and when they saw the standoff between Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong, they were extremely curious. After they asked the reason why, the youths began to laugh. Kid, stop trying to steal our battle points. My team, Lei Tsong's team, should get at least half. Lei Tsong's team were extremely aggressive. Soon, Lu Xiaoyu and Lu Chen's team also arrived. Brother Feng, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi came to Zhao Feng's left and right side, but their force still seemed weak against Lei Tsong's team. Kiddo, I'll give you one more chance. Give me the body of the bandit, the evidence and the spoils, and we'll give you some of the battle points. Lei Tsong said forcefully. Nope. Zhao Feng snickered coldly, his attitude was strong as well. Seems like you'll refuse the toast of victory and drink the wine of defeat. Cold light flashed in Lei Tsong's eyes as he slowly raised his hand about to attack. The youths present felt like they couldn't breathe. Lu Xiaoyu was on the side gloating, and Huang Qi had cold sweat coming off his forehead. Lei Tsong's strength was second in the 10 Sky Guards and he had 2 of the 10 in his team. Even if Zhao Feng was able to fight against Lei Tsong, how were Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei supposed to face the other 10? Tang! At this moment, a beautiful figure arrived, while sending out an undefiable aura. Feng Hanyue. Many of the youths present respectfully greeted him, including Lei Tsong. After the battle, Feng Hanyue's face was pale and it was obvious that his injury hadn't fully recovered yet. After knowing the situation, Feng Hanyue spoke. The one-eyed bandit did have at least 80% of his strength left before he died. Hua! Exclamations came from the crowd as they looked disbelievingly towards Zhao Feng. Obviously, if I wasn't there, you still wouldn't have been able to kill him even if all of you went up at the same time. Therefore, I get at least half of the battle points. Feng Hanyue's words suddenly twisted. At least one half. Both Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong's heart clenched. Feng Hanyue did indeed put in a lot of effort into injuring the one-eyed bandit. Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng both had nothing to say. Then what about the other half? Lei Tsong asked. That's not my problem. Furthermore, there's the Guanjuan Corps scouting and calculating. Feng Hanyue spoke in an overbearing manner. Hearing this, the crowd nodded their heads. They knew that someone was calculating the battle points. Shua! At this time, a figure came from the trees not far away. His speed was 2 times faster than the bandit leader. Guanjuan Corps. The youths felt their heart tighten. This Guanjuan Corps had reached the 8th rank and he sent out a dominant aura, which even made Feng Hanyue look at him in awe and respect. The Guanjuan Corps were the personal guards of Lord Guanjuan, and each of them had strength surpassing normal martial masters. Even Feng Hanyue never found where the Guanjuan Corps were hiding. The 20 battle points for slaying the bandit and the 10 points for gathering evidence, all for a total of 30 battle points, all goes to Zhao Feng. The Guanjuan Corps announced coldly. What? The youths that heard this, their mouths dropped wide open. How was that possible? Lei Tsong, Feng Hanyue, Lu Xiaoyu were all shocked and they didn't know what to say. This Guanjuan Corps was way too biased towards Zhao Feng. The bandit leader was killed by Zhao Feng alone, and no one helped in the 100 breaths that they were fighting in. The evidence that he had connections with the enemy country was also collected by Zhao Feng alone. Therefore all of the 30 points go to him. The Guanjuan Corps explained. When he finished, everyone understood. The rules were like this. Although Feng Hanyue and the other youths played a huge role in injuring the leader, the one that killed him was Zhao Feng alone. The Guanjuan Corp glanced toward Zhao Feng and said, "Not bad," before he left, leaving behind a bunch of unwilling youths who didn't dare to question him. However, some of them also looked towards Zhao Feng with wariness. The Guanjuan Corp must have seen the entire scene when Zhao Feng slew the head bandit and therefore gave all the battle points to him. One had to know that 10 battle points was worth a peak-ranked martial art. 50 points could be exchanged for a half-holy martial art. The youths looked at Zhao Feng with envy and jealously as Zhao Feng received 30 extra points. In the midst, both Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong's faces were dim. Zhao Feng felt the coldness emitting from Feng Hanyue and the warning in Lei Tsong's eyes. "Brother Hanyue, I heard that the person with the most battle points gets an extra reward. We can't give up so easily, can we?" Lei Tsong said softly to Feng Hanyue. Right now, Zhao Feng obviously had the lead, shaking off Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong. "I'll let him be happy for a while." Feng Hanyue's face turned calm once more. After this incident, Zhao Feng's name spread throughout the Skyguards battalion. Some youths thought that he was just lucky, while others' eyes twinkled. The mission hadn't finished yet, and according to the information taken from the bandits, the group they had just defeated were named the Desolate Destruction Bandits. In the area, there were another few groups of bandits, with the Deadly Wolves bandits being the strongest, as they also had martial masters in the group. 3 days later, the teams from the Skyguards battalion had killed almost all of the bandits nearby. As they engaged in battle, the strength of the youths increased by leaps and bounds. At a certain day, a few of the smaller teams gathered together and attacked the hideout of the Deadly Wolves bandits. The one who was in charge of information gathering was Zhao Feng. Within the depths of a cave. "How could those bastards find our hiding place?" The leader of the Deadly Wolves bandits stood up. One had to know that the hiding point of the Deadly Wolves bandits was insanely secure. Even if one knew the area where it was located, the path was extremely dangerous and complicated and hard to follow. The bandits in the hideout were thrown into chaos as the Desolate Destruction Bandits had been massacred by those mysterious youths. "Kill!" The groups of Skyguards battalion attacked. "Tell all our brothers to retreat." The Deadly Wolves leader thought about the mysterious background that the youths had, and he instantly made his decision. Soon, the group of 20 to 30 men escaped through the back. "Kill!" From the back hill came the sound of battle. So. Tens of arrows came from the forest nearby. One of the youths held a golden bow and he had instantly shot 6 to 7 arrows, which had taken the lives of every target. "How did these fuckers know we had this escape route?" The Deadly Wolves leader took in a cold breath. His eyes scanned the surroundings, and he felt his heart turn cold when they settled on a youth holding a golden bow. The youth holding the bow was Zhao Feng. 2 days ago, he had used lightly floating fairy and his enhanced vision to locate the hideout. He had even memorized all the routes nearby, and it was under his guidance that the Skyguards battalion attacked the hideout. At this moment, the Deadly Wolves leader had a feeling that the whole situation had been created by this person. "Die!" The Deadly Wolves leader pounced towards Zhao Feng. Shua! The speed of the leader was incredible. Under the daylight, only a faint green figure could be seen. In terms of speed alone, he surpassed the one-eyed bandit. So, Zhao Feng remained calm and he used his archer god's left eye skill. Instantly, 3-4 arrows pierced through the air and they had a special pattern to them. One was higher while the other was lower, one was in front while the other was behind. They blocked the path of the Deadly Wolves leader. Open. The leader was forced to activate his inner strength and form a shield to protect himself. However, 2 arrows still broke through the barrier and one lodged itself in his foot. The Deadly Wolves leader couldn't believe that there was such a dangerous archer in this world. "Leave this person to me." A beautiful youth came from the other side. It was Feng Hanyue. "Everyone retreat." The Deadly Wolves leader didn't dare to stay, so he circulated his speed skill and headed towards the depths of the forest. So. A few arrows came through the air again and blocked the path of the Deadly Wolves leader, forcing him to stop. "Stop him!" Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu came from the other side, and under the combined effort of the 4, they easily gained the upper hand. In the midst, Feng Hanyue was the main close combatant, while Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu supported him from the side. Zhao Feng was the long-range controller, and he used his Archer God's left eye skill to restrict the movement of the leader. The Deadly Wolves leader spat out blood from anger. In his eyes, Zhao Feng was the most threatening one. Injuries appeared on his body, all due to Zhao Feng's arrow. At a certain point, Zhao Feng put the bow away and attacked the Deadly Wolves leader. Good. The Deadly Wolves leader laughed. He wanted to get rid of this archer first. But the opponent had skilled footwork, and he would always stop him from entering the close range. Now the youth had headed towards him for close combat. Mysterious wind palm. A faint azure glow appeared on Zhao Feng's palm as it collided heavily with the Deadly Wolves leader's attack. Boom! The air wave engulfed everything in a few meters radius, and using the energy, Zhao Feng retreated tens of meters back and took his bow again out. What's going on? The Deadly Wolves leader felt that the weird palm attack dissolve his attack and chain him up for a second. And in that gap, the attacks of Feng Hanyue and company had landed on him. Wah! The Deadly Wolves leader instantly spat out mouthfuls of blood as he cursed Zhao Feng, but he found that Zhao Feng had retreated out of range. So Zhao Feng continuously fired a few arrows just as the Deadly Wolves leader was injured. The Deadly Wolves leader couldn't dodge at all, and he could only watch the 3 arrows lodge themselves into his vitals. One arrow even stabbed half an inch into his heart. Exploding cloud destruction. The bandit roared and exploded his inner strength, which pushed Feng Hanyue and the other 2 away. Then, he headed towards the direction of the sky cloud forest. Follow! Feng Hanyue and the others obviously didn't give up. The bandit was severely injured, and this was a good chance to gain battle points. I must kill this person to exceed Zhao Feng in battle points. All 3 had the same idea. Up to now, Zhao Feng had the lead, and the only chance to beat him was to kill the Deadly Wolves leader. In terms of speed, Feng Hanyue was the fastest, while Zhao Feng was second. What kind of guy is he? He's a monster. Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. The aura that Zhao Feng was releasing had now reached the peak 6th rank as well. Soon, the 4 geniuses had entered the limitless sky cloud forest. The bandit area was located near the sky cloud forest, so the 4 weren't surprised that the Deadly Wolves leader would escape in this direction. Being born near here and having been here several times, Zhao Feng understood the landscape well. Soon, Zhao Feng was the one leading as his left eye had locked onto the figure. Half an hour later, the area ahead suddenly turned dark. Zhao Feng's left eye saw a scene tens of miles away. Help me, Lord. The blood-soaked Deadly Wolves leader flew onto a tree. What? You're useless. You've even given my location away. On the tree, there was a hooded figure whose voice was hoarse who sat on it. Under the hood, there were a pair of blue eyes that gave off a frightening aura. Plop! The Deadly Wolves leader couldn't withstand the pressure and he kneeled on the ground. Forgive me, Lord. He had no resistance against the hooded figure even with his 7th rank cultivation. You've lost your value. Under the hood, a gray light headed towards the Deadly Wolves leader. Not good. The Deadly Wolves leader immediately poured out his inner strength. Plah! His inner strength instantly vanished as it came into contact with the gray light. Then the light proceeded towards him and it turned his body into a puddle of black water. A skeleton could be seen in the black puddle of water. The scene made Zhao Feng, who was tens of miles away, take a cold breath. What kind of being was that hooded figure? A martial master of the 7th rank was demolished in one move. It was just too terrifying. Not only that, the ice-blue eyes seemed to glance his way as well. Zhao Feng felt his blood freeze and his breathing rate stop. Roar! 3 high-tier deadly beasts of the 8th rank came from behind the hooded figure, and they headed towards Zhao Feng and company. Run! Zhao Feng sped in the opposite direction. Feng Hanyue and the others also sensed the aura of the deadly beasts and they sprinted away as well. Why would there be high-tier deadly beasts here? 2 silver figures appeared and headed towards the high-tier deadly beasts. Boom! The 3 high-tiers beasts were beaten to death 10 breaths later. Is this the true strength of the Guanjuan core? Zhao Feng had seen the whole scene, couldn't help but click his tongue. What kind of power was it to dissolve a martial master into a pool of water? When the Guanjun Corps saw what happened, they all took in a cold breath, but the hooded figure had disappeared. Zhao Feng and the other three let out a breath as they exited the sky cloud forest. I wonder if the deadly wolves leader is dead or alive. Lu Xiaoyu and Lei Tsong were unwilling. At this time, one of the Guanjun Corps came flying over. There's a change in plans, the mission ends now. The guard's voice was nervous. What happened? Why would the mission suddenly end? Feng Hanyue and the others were curious. According to what they knew, the area still had a few bandits left. Don't ask anything. Everyone returned to the Guanjuan province city. The expression of the guard was solemn. Only Zhao Feng was thinking that the sudden change must have something to do with the hooded figure. The power of the hooded figure had exceeded the limits of the human body. On the same day, under the guidance of 7 to 8 Guanjun Corps, the Sky Guards battalion returned the way they came from. After leaving the bandit zone, the Guanjun Corps let out a breath. But somehow, Zhao Feng seemed to feel that a pair of ice-blue eyes were following them. Inside the dimension of his left eye, the ice-blue eyes appeared once again. A few days later, the geniuses arrived back in Guanjuan Province City, and it was only until then did the feeling of being spied on disappear. The Guanjuan Province City was under the control of Lord Guanjuan. The factions must have some wariness of him. Inside the Sky Guards Battalion, 3rd Guard calculated the total battle points. Feng Hanyue, 45 battle points. Lei Tsong, 32 battle points. Lu Xiaoyu, 26 battle points. The points awarded to the 10 Sky Guards were read out in order. Most of them were around 20 or so. Finally, it was Zhao Feng's turn. Zhao Feng, 72 battle points. When he read that, 3rd Guard's eyes contracted as this was unexpected. But the battle points were given under consent of the Guanjun Corps, so 3rd Guard wasn't suspicious. 72 battle points. The youths took in a cold breath. His battle points easily dominated the others. Humph, if I was the one who finished off the almost dead 7th rank leader, number 1 might have been me. Many of them still felt that Zhao Feng was lucky. Soon, everyone's battle points had been announced, and Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi both received 20 each, almost beating Lu Xiaoyu, which made the latter's face turn dim. When they left, they had laughed at Zhao Feng's team. But this scene was like a slap in the face. Zhao Feng, being the person with the top battle points, you get an extra reward. 3rd Guard kicked everyone else out except for Zhao Feng. An extra reward. Zhao Feng's breathing rate increased. May I ask 3rd Guard what the reward is? The first choice is an extra 100 battle points, and the second is all your battle points get cleared, but you get a holy martial art. The man said, 100 battle points. What? Holy martial art? The first choice could give Zhao Feng much more items because 10 points could already be exchanged for 1 peak-ranked martial art. But the second choice was a holy martial art. No wonder the Guanjuan Palace was one of the strongest factions. It could take out holy martial arts easily. Obviously, I suggest that you choose the first reward because you can use those points to get much more items. As for holy martial arts, it's much too hard to train for those under the 7th rank. Even some 9th rankers can't learn it. 3rd Guard suggested. Zhao Feng went into deep thought. This man in front of him was ranked 3rd amongst the Guanjuan Corps, and he was one of the right-hand men of Lord Guanjuan, so his judgments were usually logical. If he chose the first choice, Zhao Feng could get another 100 battle points and exchange it for a half-holy martial art and some cultivation resources, whereas all his battle points would be cleared if he chose the second choice. He had to face a huge risk if he chose the holy martial art, because it would be wasted if he couldn't train it. Thinking logically, the first choice was better, but it was a holy martial art. A chance to surpass the martial path and enter the legendary holy martial path. Who? Zhao Feng took a deep breath. It was hard for him to decide. Oh yeah. I forgot to tell you that one of the Guanjuan Palace's rules states that those under the 7th rank can't choose a holy martial art. I can give you 7 more days to decide. The Guanjuan Corps suddenly added. 7th rank of the martial path? Zhao Feng nodded his head. Let God make the decision then. Through the mission, his cultivation had reached the peak 6th rank. 7 days. If he broke through to the 7th rank, Zhao Feng would choose the second choice. If he couldn't, then he could only choose the first. After making his decision, Zhao Feng returned to his wooden room quickly. After the mission, limitless youths went to the treasury hall to trade their battle points for martial arts, resources and weapons. Only Zhao Feng remained inside his wooden room. The afternoon that day, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi returned full of joy. Zhao Yufei had chosen a peak-ranked martial art and many cultivation resources. Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong both traded most of their points for cultivation resources, while Lei Tsong traded all of his points for resources and pills. Ha ha ha! This rare 1000-year firegrass and blood strength pill will help me break through to the 7th rank. I will definitely succeed this time. Lei Tsong sat crossed-legged in his wooden room, his face full of excitement. The 1000-year firegrass was much more precious than other 1000-year plants as it contained more energy than the others. The blood-strengthening pill helped condense and purify one's inner strength, and it gave a certain amount of help to someone trying to break through the 7th rank. From this day on, the youths of Skyguard's battalion all started to cultivate. Just that night alone, many youths had reached the 5th and 6th rank. The second day, the third day, some of the youths improved dramatically. On the third day, a powerful aura washed out from Lei Tsong's room, which made the youths of the Skyguard's battalion couldn't help but sigh. Oh my God! Has Lei Tsong reached the 7th rank? The expressions of the youths changed. At the same time, there was disturbance in the other wooden rooms. The 4th day, the 5th day, youth after youth came out of cultivation. Brother Lei is only 17 years old and at the 7th rank already. Indeed a genius. Haha! I don't have to look at Feng Hanyue's face anymore. I can do whatever I want. Lei Tsong walked and felt the wariness and respect in the nearby youth's eyes. At this time Lu Xiaoyu walked over. Song rations to Brother Lei for entering the martial master rank. Lu Xiaoyu made some improvements as well. He had reached the peak 6th rank, just one step away from the 7th. Exchanging a few words, Lu Xiaoyu pulled Lei Tsong over to the side and said something in a low tone. Oh? Lei Tsong scanned the 10th wooden room after he heard this. Zhao Feng had stayed in his room ever since they returned from the mission, and no one knew what he had received. Only Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi knew that Zhao Feng hadn't gone to the treasury hall to get anything. What is he doing? Even if he was going to cultivate, wouldn't it be easier if he exchanged some of his battle points for resources or pills? At this moment, Zhao Feng sat on the floor as the inner strength inside his body coursed throughout his body. As he was breathing, the aura he released was even stronger than usual. A few days ago, he had eaten the last 1,000-year-old plant and felt that his inner strength was purified. But Zhao Feng didn't successfully reach the 7th rank. Instead, he was just half a step away. It looks like that it's unlikely that I will reach the 7th rank in the next 2 days. Zhao Feng sighed. The difference between the 6th and 7th rank was a massive one. So many cultivators stayed at the peak 6th rank and never managed to enter the 7th. Zhao Feng, come out and accept my challenge. Outside the room, someone shouted. HM? Zhao Feng walked out of his room and realized there was a bunch of people gathering. The challenge came from a youth of the peak 6th rank. To receive better treatment with the 10 Skyguards, one had to become one of the 10 Skyguards. Fine, I'll work out my bones. Zhao Feng faced the other peak 6th rank youth. Dragons soaring through the sky. The opponent immediately used a peak-ranked speed skill and a max-level fist skill. Zhao Feng stood tall with one hand behind his back. Then he pointed one finger at the youth. Ah! The youth exclaimed. The inner strength contained in that one finger was unstoppable, and it had almost made him cough up blood. In just 2 moves, he was put down by Zhao Feng. Such strong inner strength. This Zhao Feng doesn't seem like he is in the rumors. The nearby youths were slightly stunned as Zhao Feng's strength could be placed in the top 3 if not the top 5. Wow, so strong. Lu Xiaoyu laughed lightly from not far away. Next to him stood a silver-clothed bald-headed youth. Zhao Feng was shocked as he stared at Lei Tsong, who had reached the 7th rank. In just a few days, another 7th rank was produced. As they looked at each other's eyes, Zhao Feng could feel the enmity and coldness in the other's eyes. That day at the bandit zone, Lei Tsong wanted to take a share of Zhao Feng's battle points, but he was unsuccessful. What brings the two of you here? Zhao Feng didn't fear them, because he hadn't broken through to the 7th rank yet. He needed to spar with someone and release the frustration. Brat named Zhao, you came first in terms of battle points. I, Lei Tsong, want to see how you achieve that. Light flashed in Lei Tsong's eyes. Wait, let me spar with him first. Lu Xiaoyu challenged him first. You're not my match. Zhao Feng shook his head. Although he was half a step away from reaching the martial master, his true strength could match the latter's. We haven't met a few days and you've become so arrogant. I want to see how much you've improved by. Lu Xiaoyu's eyebrows twitched as he used his best skill, cloud-shattering fist. Break! Zhao Feng lightly exclaimed as a green streak shot out from his fingertips. Inner strength out of the body. The expression of the nearby youths changed dramatically. Shua! Lu Xiaoyu's cloud-shattering fist was pierced through by the wisp of green light and a hole appeared on his chest. How? You haven't reached the 7th rank yet. Lu Xiaoyu's face was pale, and he couldn't believe it. Zhao Feng had defeated Lu Xiaoyu in one move. Because Zhao Feng was at the peak 6th rank and his Starfinger was at the 4th level, his attack was on par with martial masters. Zhao Feng, your strength exceeded my expectation, but you still can't beat me. Lei Tsong said confidently as he slowly walked over. After reaching the 7th rank, both the quantity and quality of his inner strength had increased. Any casual action seemed profound. Shut up with the useless words if you want to fight. Then hurry it up. Zhao Feng said. Good, good, good. Lei Tsong laughed instead of getting angry, and a silver aura suddenly appeared from his aura that swept towards the Zhao Feng. Final wind palm. Lei Tsong's 7th rank inner strength exploded, and as the palm pushed out, a silver air wave could be seen. One line star finger. Zhao Feng's fingertips spat out an azure-colored inner strength that streaked through the sky like a meteor and collided with Lei Tsong's palm. Hong! The force created by the two washed up a thick layer of dust that engulfed the two figures. In a blink of an eye, Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng had exchanged blows. The power from the blows made the other youths dodge them immediately. Starfinger. Zhao Feng charged forwards instead of retreating as his left eye could catch the changes of inner strength and blood. Boom! 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 Zhao Feng's Starfinger had reached the peak 4th level, and he could fire tens of finger beams in an instant. Streaks of azure light could be seen flying everywhere. Every finger strived for perfection and damage. In the short time period, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong were on par with each other. Lei Tsong had the advantage in higher cultivation and therefore, he could use a wide-range attacks while Zhao Feng had his spatial Starfinger, which was on par with attacks from the 7th rank. In terms of attack speed, Zhao Feng was actually faster and he held the initiative. Final wind breaking the skies. Lei Tsong's palm exploded and sent a barrier of wind towards Zhao Feng. Mysterious wind palm. Zhao Feng immediately merged the picture of the girl in his mind. Through the battles he had fought in, his palm was even stronger than before. The two palms clashed together, but Zhao Feng's azure palm seemed to engulf all the wind and it easily resolved Lei Tsong's attack. What kind of skill is that? Lei Tsong was stunned. The skill he used just then was one of his best. Flowing wind stance. Zhao Feng's body suddenly became agile and he seemed to dance with the wind. He attacked with mysterious wind palm and sometimes with Starfinger. Doom. Pew. Bang. The two figures sent air waves crashing everywhere. 10 moves. 20 moves. 30 moves. Zhao Feng's inner strength and skills became more honed. Facing a martial master had ignited the potential in Zhao Feng. Unconsciously, his Starfinger had fully consolidated at the peak of the 4th level and his metal wall technique had closed in on the late stages of the 5th level as well. This allowed him to fight a martial master head-on and not lose. After 100 or so moves, the two both felt slightly puffed. Zhao Feng felt his inner strength become purer and had a chaotic feeling to it. Zhao Feng felt his cultivation go a step further and he slowly started to break through the last barrier. Today's sparring stops here. Zhao Feng's figure immediately left the battle circle and he returned back to his wooden room. Lei Zong couldn't gain the upper hand at all and he felt slightly tired as well. He realized that this was because his cultivation hadn't stabilized. On a wooden house far away, Feng Hanyue stood there watching. "Brother Feng, what do you think about the battle?" one youth asked. "Lei Zong has just reached the 7th rank and he is pretty useless. As for Zhao Feng, he might be able to threaten me if he reaches the 7th rank." Feng Hanyue's expression was calm. At this moment, the aura coming from him seemed to be close to the peak 7th rank. It was obvious that he had improved since the mission. Inside the wooden room, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and he started to circulate his inner strength. Through the battle, his potential had ignited. At this moment, he even felt his inner strength roar powerfully as it traveled through his body. Both the quality and quantity of it was increasing rapidly. That night, Zhao Feng's inner strength tried to exit his body and he was finally able to condense it. Because he had the experience of making his inner strength leave his body due to Star Finger, he was able to successfully break through. It worked. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and he opened his palm. A green glow of light jumped out and then returned back inside his body. In this instant, he only needed one thought to completely explode his inner strength and send martial artists flying. Only then did Zhao Feng realize how strong the 7th rank was. Zhao Feng only took 1 day to completely control the power, even exceeding Lei Kong. If he used his Star Finger, the power would be on a whole level higher. As his cultivation increased, his metal wall technique had also reached the peak 5th rank. The metal wall technique was split into 7 levels and the 6th level could form a barrier using inner strength, which even 7th and 8th ranks would find hard to break. According to what it wrote, if one reached the 7th level, their body would be perfect. Thinking about it now, Zhao Feng thought that something was wrong because at that level, it would have exceeded the limits of the human body unless there was still a gap between the 6th and 7th level. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he thought about Zhao Yufei's grandfather, the one-armed old man. When they had exchanged, the old man may have also changed something on metal wall technique, just like how he had kept back information. He didn't think too much about these problems because he had broken through to the 7th rank and he could choose his reward. Holy martial art. This looks like this is what God decided for me. Zhao Feng suppressed his excitement. Today was the day he needed to answer Third Guard, the building in the middle of the field. "You've decided to choose the holy martial art?" Third Guard was slightly surprised as he stared at Zhao Feng. He never thought that Zhao Feng would be able to reach the 7th rank and enter the ranks of martial masters in such a short amount of time. "Yes." Zhao Feng's tone was decisive. "Okay, follow me." The Guanjuan Corp didn't say much as he led Zhao Feng to the Treasury Hall. The Treasury Hall was the sacred ground of the Guanjuan Palace. There were always 2 martial masters of the 9th rank year overseeing its place and to open the Holy Martial Arts Library. Both the 9th rank martial masters needed to agree. Open the Holy Martial Arts Library? The 2 were slightly stunned. In the Guanjuan Palace, one must had the personal agreement from Lord Guanjuan. Open the Holy Martial Arts Library. Third Guard took out a dark silver and gold token. Orders of Lord Guanjuan. The 2 martial masters of the 9th rank immediately bowed down. The silver and gold token represented Lord Guanjuan himself. Furthermore, Third Guard was of the top 3 of the Guanjuan Corps and he oversaw the Sky Guards battalion, since Lord Guanjuan was in secluded meditation. His status could be seen as he took out the token. The 2 9th ranks led the way to a dark metallic silver building. The whole building had no windows, it just had a pure black door which had a hole in the middle of it. Third Guard walked to the door and placed the Guanjuan token into it. Wang. The pure black door slowly opened and revealed what was inside. You can only choose one holy martial art. Third Guard took Zhao Feng and then closed the door. In the dark room, there were bright jade slips, around 20 of them, and they had martial art names on them. Illusion Wind Technique, Blood God Palm, Heavenly Demonic Claw, Sky Domination Hand, Silver Wall Technique. Every jade slip represents a holy martial art. Once you've decided on which one you want, you can take one out and borrow it for 7 days, then send it back after. What you gain all depends on your enlightenment and wisdom. the Guanjun Corp told him. Zhao Feng knew that these slips were just the summaries of the skills. The real skills had to be taken from elsewhere. There weren't many holy martial arts in the room, but all of them were complete. Illusion Wind Technique. One's figure turns into the wind and creates doppelgangers. The high level can create 9 doppelgangers. Minimum requirements. 7th rank. Blood God Palm. Dissolves the enemy's flesh into water and is able to form a deadly poison. Heavenly Demonic Claw. A demonic claw that can rip metal into pieces. When trained to the peak, it can destroy infinite items. Zhao Feng's heart couldn't help but shake as he saw the descriptions. Compared with these, the martial arts he learnt before were like children's play. Suddenly, Zhao Feng saw a name of a jade slip named Silver Wall Technique. Silver Wall Technique? Zhao Feng was overrun with joy. His metal wall technique was said to be the simplified version of the silver wall technique. Silver Wall Technique, a body-strengthening technique that increases the trainer's strength and defense. Once trained to its peak, the body won't even melt in fire and it exceeds the limits of the human body. Looking at the description, the metal wall technique was similar to silver wall technique, but the latter was more powerful. Exceeds the limits of the human body. What kind of thought is that? According to what Zhao Feng knew, if one's body reached its peak, one could instantly step into the holy martial path with just body strength alone. This was similar to the peak 5th level of the metal wall technique, just their muscles alone could fight against 5th or 6th ranks. Silver wall technique was the same way, one could use their muscles alone and fight against cultivators of the holy martial path. No wonder it's a holy tier body strengthening technique. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and turned back to the other jade slips. Zhao Feng scanned the techniques and he found that offensive skills took up the majority. There was only 2 body strengthening techniques, including silver wall technique. Offensive and speed skills must not be easy to learn. Zhao Feng thought secretly. Inside the dimension of his left eye, he had the mysterious wind palm and the 4 incomplete holy martial arts. Flowing wind stance, tornado stance, partial wind stance, and burning wind stance. Just these holy martial arts alone would take Zhao Feng a long time to learn. So he swiftly took the jade slip representing silver wall technique when he thought about everything. You choose silver wall technique? Third guard was slightly surprised. He had taken others in here before and they all took offensive skills such as Bloody God Palm and Heavenly Demonic Claw. If they learnt these skills, they would be able to beat all the other cultivators of the same rank. But there were not people who could learn them. Yep. Zhao Feng was decisive. He chose this skill after much thought. It's easy to learn holy body strengthening technique, but the difficulty increases significantly later on compared to the other skills. The Guanjuan Corp had a faint smile on his facre. He admired Zhao Feng's decision as the body was the foundation of cultivation. One would only be able to train other skills if their body would allow it. After confirming the skill, Third Guard gave a handwritten book to Zhao Feng. Opening it, Zhao Feng saw the contents were similar to metal wall technique, but it was more in-depth and profound. Although this is just a handwritten copy, you still must return it in 7 days. You must not give this technique to others or else the Guanjuan Palace will cripple your cultivation. The Guanjuan Corp warned. Understood. But I don't need to take this book back with me. Zhao Feng said calmly. As he said so, he stared at the book and flipped the pages quickly. Shwa. In an instant, the contents were copied into Zhao Feng's mind. Tens of breaths later, Zhao Feng returned the hand-written book back to Third Guard. You? Third Guard was slightly dazed. I've already memorized it. Zhao Feng gave a smile. What kind of monster was he? Shock and stun could be seen in Third Guard's eyes. He had seen geniuses that could memorize whatever they saw, but it was his first time seeing someone memorize the whole book. After all, the book contained complex pictures and phrases. A single difference could result in destruction. Even geniuses who could memorize what they saw in one go would look over it repetitively. Are you sure you've memorized it all? I bet little brother Bei will be interested. The Guanjuan Corp sent Zhao Feng away with his eyes and gave a short laugh. He trusted that Zhao Feng had memorized it because no one could resist the temptation of a holy martial art. After leaving the treasury hall, Zhao Feng returned to the Sky Guards battalion. As soon as he got near his wooden room, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi looked expectantly at him. "Brother Feng, what did you get at the treasury hall?" Zhao Yufei blinked and was extremely curious. Everyone knew that Zhao Feng had gotten the most battle points in the mission, so he had an extra reward. "Secret." Zhao Feng gave a mysterious smile and he returned to his wooden room. He didn't want everyone to know that he had a holy martial art. Within the wooden room, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and the contents of silver wall technique surfaced in his mind. He learnt it while comparing it with metal wall technique at the same time. Metal wall technique is indeed just a simplified version of silver wall technique. Excitement shone in Zhao Feng's eyes. The more it was so, the better it was for him because a brand new skill was hard to learn. But because he had learnt metal wall technique, he had a solid foundation and therefore it was easier to train. Silver wall technique was split into 11 levels. The first 3 levels were similar to the metal wall technique with strengthening the skin as the focus. The 4th to 6th levels focused on strengthening the bone cell, which increased the offensive and power of the trainer. The 7th to 9th levels focused on strengthening the organs and ignited the potential of one's body. One could form a barrier from inner strength that could block the arrows of 10,000 archers. The 10th level, complete change of bones and blood, breakthrough to the holy martial path, comma. Reading up to here, Zhao Feng didn't know how to express himself. The 10th level already allowed someone to reach the holy martial path. 11th level, body of perfection, almost undestroyable. Zhao Feng held his breath as he read this, then compared it with the 7th level of metal wall technique. It looks like the metal wall technique from the one-armed old man has problems because it misses out on at least 3 levels and a high-ranked martial art can't allow someone to reach the holy martial path. Zhao Feng analyzed. He was even suspicious that the old man had the silver wall technique, but he was just afraid to take it out. But since these questions had no answers, he couldn't be bothered to figure them out. On the same time, Zhao Feng started to train silver wall technique. Zhao Feng only used 3 hours to easily successfully train the first 3 levels, and he couldn't explain how nice he felt. It was the same 3 levels as metal wall technique, but more deep. From the 4th level, the difference between the two became greater. The 4th to 6th levels of silver wall technique equaled the 4th to 6th rank of the martial path respectively, unlike the metal wall technique, where the increase in levels had a massive gap. The night of the 2nd day, Zhao Feng successfully reached the 5th level of silver wall technique and his progress slowed down. But because Zhao Feng had metal wall technique as the foundation, he still reached the 6th level within the next 3 days. The 6th level of silver wall technique. I can wipe out anyone under the 7th rank, and I even challenge martial masters of the 7th rank with just my muscles alone. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled and a smile appeared on his lips. His strength had increased by at least 1/2 because inner strength and martial arts all used the body as the basis. After reaching the 6th level, his progress was so slow that it had technically stopped. Zhao Feng understood that the foundation of metal wall technique had all been used up. To improve this technique, it now required him actually working. Zhao Feng let out a breath and yawned. He had been training for a few days, and when he went out, he found out that the situation had changed in the Skyguards battalion. The tent that Zhao Yufei used to live in had disappeared, leaving behind Huang Qi's. 2 days ago, Lady Yufei had reached top 5 of the 10 Skyguards and Lu Xiaoyu had reached top 3. Apart from that, 2 more of the original 10 Skyguards have been replaced. Huang Qi summarized the situation. The kill mission had changed the situation of the 10 Skyguards as some youths had received good rewards, which allowed them to increase by leaps and bounds. However, no one challenged Zhao Feng because he had fought Lei Song to a draw a few days ago and was said to be ranked 3rd. Oh yeah, you need to be careful. Lei Song is coming out of training today, and I heard that he wants to spar with you again. Huang Qi warned. Lei Song? Zhao Feng smiled and didn't put it to heart. His cultivation had been suppressed to the peak 6th rank, so Huang Qi didn't know that he had broken through. His Withering Wood technique had reached the max level, which could allow him to even fake death. Soon, Zhao Feng arrived at the 5th wooden room and sparred with Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei did make some major improvements, training in 3 different peak-ranked martial arts, which were offensive, defensive, and body strengthening respectively. Zhao Yufei learnt skills and increased in cultivation way faster than others. After the mission, she had honed her skills and her potential had ignited, which allowed her to reach the peak 6th rank. As the two sparred, two youths of 15 to 16-year-old arrived at the entrance of the Skyguards battalion. They're newbies arriving at the Skyguards battalion? A few of the youths were curious. The two were different. One was handsome and easy to interact with, while the other was expressionless. Master will be coming out in half a month. I wonder how many of the Skyguards battalion he will choose, the social youth said. The expressionless youth only listened and didn't reply. The two walked shoulder to shoulder and arrived in front of the 10 Skyguards. 6th brother. Don't you want to see the elites of the 10 Skyguards? The interactive youth asked. No, the expressionless youth said. Ah, you're too straightforward. A light smile appeared on his face as he sighed. Who dares to be arrogant here? Lei Song just happened to walk out from the second room and heard this. Zhe 7th rank, so. The talkative youth said playfully. I'll see what makes you so arrogant. Lei Song sent a palm with a ring of inner strength in it towards the two youths. If they were martial artists, this move alone would send them flying. However, the two didn't move at all. Fuck off. The expressionless youth stood still as he released a bronze-colored inner strength that ripped Lei Song's attack into shreds. Boom. Lei Song's body was sent flying, and with a crock, the wooden room behind him was also destroyed. Boom. The loud sound immediately alarmed the other youths of the Skyguards battalion. Who are those two? They sent Lei Song flying in one hit. Don't they know that it's against the rules to destroy the wooden houses? A few of the youths were shocked. Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei were both alarmed by this as well. When they went out, they saw that the wooden house belonging to Lei Song had been destroyed and Lei Song himself had just managed to get rid of the wood covering him. Aren't you too scared of the punishment from the Skyguards battalion? Lei Song wiped the blood leaking from his mouth. We're not from the Skyguards battalion. The handsome youth curled his lips while the expressionless youth remained expressionless. Final wind destroying the skies. Lei Song once again exploded his inner strength and shot towards the two strangers. This move contained his full power and it could easily kill cultivators of the 6th rank. Let me do it. The joyful youth laughed gently and he sent a twirl of white inner strength towards the attack and resolved it easily. Ah! Lei Song felt his body move forward without doing anything. So he immediately circulated his inner strength and tried to retreat. Hee. Come down. The youth twirled his hand once more, and Lei Song felt a suction force below him that pulled him down. Plop. Lei Song fell right down and he was kicked flying by the youth. It looks like there aren't any geniuses within the Skyguards battalion. The handsome youth shook his head. I said that. The expressionless youth said that. But what he actually meant I said that. It was you that forced me to come here. The other youth stiffened slightly. The fight had started and ended in an instant. See. The watching youths of the Skyguards battalion drew in cold breaths. Lei Song, ranked number 2, had been defeated this easily. That skill he just used had surpassed the peak-ranked martial arts. Could it be? Zhao Feng was slightly stunned. He was certain that the skill the joyful youth had just used was at least at the half-holy rank. Who says that the Skyguards battalion is weak? A cold, clear sound came from a wooden room on the side. Shua! A beautiful silver-haired figure appeared. Feng Hanyue. Expressions of joy appeared on the youths of the Skyguards battalion. Feng Hanyue was ranked first amongst the 10 Skyguards and he had reached the 7th rank way before Lei Song. And he had beaten Lei Song when he had reached the 7th rank in 10 moves. There seems to be some sort of genius at least. The talkative youth laughed as he sized up Feng Hanyue. Feng Hanyue started to glow silver as his hair flowed in the wind. Sang. Shua. The two youths immediately crossed paths and with a bang, they created a hole where they stood. Sky illusion stance. Feng Hanyue used his incomplete holy martial art and his figure became like the moon, unrealistic and fast. Wind turbine technique. The other youth stood still and clasped his hands together. As he did so, a tornado appeared. What? Feng Hanyue felt his body being forcefully pulled by a force. What kind of technique is this? My incomplete holy martial art has no effect at all. Boom! The social youth made 2 slicing actions with his hands, and the tornado turned into circles and circles that tried to restrain Feng Hanyue. Illusion Moon Heavenly Slice. Feng Hanyue shouted, and a cold silver glow appeared on his arms that turned into blades and collided with the enemy's attacks. The 2 forces bit at each other for a moment before the remaining energy blew everything away. At last, the social youth had destroyed Feng Hanyue's half-holy martial art because he had more profound inner strength. Pew! Feng Hanyue's body was sent 7 to 8 meters away, and he was extremely pale-faced. Even half-holy martial arts don't affect him. Could it be that he's trained a holy martial art? Not bad, you managed to sustain 20 moves with me. The youth that won had admiration in his eyes. At this moment, his aura was fully released, and he made Lei Tsong and Feng Heiyu hard to breath. 8th rank of the martial path. Lei Tsong exclaimed. The social youth's cultivation had surpassed everyone in the Skyguards battalion. 8th rank of the martial path. And a peak 8th rank. Zhao Feng was shocked by what he saw. The other expressionless youth had reached the peak 8th rank. It was hard to imagine that a 15 to 16-year-old youth that had almost reached the 9th rank. The 9th rank was already the peak because the holy martial path was just a legend. Who are you? Feng Hanyue looked at the 2 warily. I'm Nan Gongfan, and this is my 6th brother, Bei Moi. The talkative youth introduced. Nan Gongfan? Bei Moi? The youths haven't even heard of them. But how could they not know such geniuses in the Guanjun Palace? Brother Nan Gongfan and Brother Bei. What brings you here? From the building sounded a voice. Before the people could react, 3rd guard appeared. Elder brother. Nan Gongfan and Bei Moi both bowed. Elder brother? 3rd guard was the elder brother of the 2? Lei Tsong and company almost swallowed their tongues. These 2 are disciples of Lord Guanjuan. 3rd guard told the Skyguards battalion. Disciples of Lord Guanjuan? Waves of admiration, jealousy, and envy shook in their hearts. No wonder they're so strong. They're disciples of Lord Guanjuan. Many of the geniuses let out sighs of relief. I heard that Master will be coming in half a month to find disciples in the Skyguards battalion, so we came to check them out. Nan Gongfan said, smiling, while Bei Moi next to him was expressionless as always. Brother Bei, we have one person that may beat you in a certain aspect. 3rd guard have a mysterious smile. Hearing this, interest immediately showed on both Nan Gongfan and Bei Moi's faces. Who? Bei Moi turned around and scanned the faces of the geniuses on the field. In their eyes, only Feng Hanyue was so. Zhao Feng. 3rd guard's eyes turned to Zhao Feng not far away. What does 3rd guard want with me? Zhao Feng walked forward with a weird expression. Him? Nan Gongfan and Bei Moi both stared at him, which made Zhao Feng feel a lot of pressure. Brother Bei, although your talent is good and you have a good memory, Zhao Feng may be better. 3rd guard said. Hee, really? Nan Gongfan asked excitedly. These 2 seemed as if they wanted someone to beat this brother of theirs. Yes, Bei Moi's talent was just insane. It had reached a level where the both of them were jealous and envious. In terms of gaining enlightenment and talent, Bei Moi had surpassed them way too much. Now that they had finally found someone who might be able to exceed Bei Moi in terms of memory, they obviously wouldn't pass this chance up. I don't believe it. Bei Moi casually said these 3 words. How do you know if you don't try? Nan Gongfan seemed excited, although he wasn't that confident. Soon, they entered the building at the middle of the field. 3rd guard immediately took a book out and slammed it onto the table. This is a half-holy martial art named Smoking Transparent Step. Half-holy martial art? Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. Both of you haven't learnt this skill right. His eyes scanned both Zhao Feng and Bei Moi. Nope. The 2 both shook their heads. Both of you use your fastest speed to memorize the contents. 3rd guard announced. I'll go first. Bei Moi took over the book and flipped over the pages. In the entire time, he seemed like a stone statue. Around half the time it took to boil tea later, Bei Moi finished. You can test me on anything. Let me test you. Nan Gongfan snatched the book and HR picked some places at random in which Bei Moi responded immediately and correctly. This performance shocked Zhao Feng. Ever since he had merged with the mysterious eye, this was the first genius he had seen that could memorize anything just by looking at it once. Zhao Feng, it's your turn, third guard said. Zhao Feng nodded his head and took the smoking transparent step book. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Around 10 breaths later, Zhao Feng returned back the book. Done. This fast? Bei Moi and Nan Gongfang were surprised and suspicious. The two chose complex points in the book, but Zhao Feng had memorized it perfectly. Too strong. His memory has surpassed Brother Bei Moi's. Nan Gongfan was excited, and it seemed as if it was an accomplishment for someone to beat Bei Moi. I don't believe it. Bei Moi's eyes scanned third guard and Zhao Feng, thinking that the two might have teamed up to trick him. How do you want to prove it then? Third guard asked back. Pa! Bei Moi took out a book and said casually, Half-Holy Martial Art, Returning Breath Technique. Half-Holy Ranked Martial Art, Returning Breath Technique. Bei Moi slammed this book down on the table. Another half-holy ranked martial art and an inner strength one at that as well. Zhao Feng laughed in his heart. Just in this short while, without using a bit of energy, he had earned a half-holy ranked speed skill, and now he was getting an inner strength one. The two skills were all useful to Zhao Feng because his lightly microstep was just a high-ranked martial art. Even if he did have the help of air-crossing breathing technique, it was only comparable to a peak-ranked martial art. As for the inner strength skill, Zhao Feng's lightly floating fairy, with the help of air-crossing breathing technique, was comparable to a half-holy ranked martial art, and the one that Bei Moi took out was already at the half-holy rank. This is a skill I took from a cultivator of the 9th rank after I slew him. Even I haven't read it yet. If you can still memorize it in the short amount of time like before, then you win. Bei Moi said. Slew a cultivator of the 9th rank? Zhao Feng was shocked as he stared at the expressionless youth in front of him. How strong was he? The weird thing was that third guard and Nan Gongfan weren't suspicious of him at all. But slightly and just faintly, Zhao Feng saw the jealousy in Nan Gongfan's eyes. It was obvious that although they had the same master, third guard and Nan Gongfan were both envious of Bei Moi's talent. Now that they had finally found someone who could beat Bei Moi in a certain aspect, they were obviously happy. What? Are you scared? A light smile appeared on Bei Moi's lips. He couldn't believe that anyone in the Guanjuan Palace could beat him in terms of memorizing. He was certain that Zhao Feng had planned this with third guard to trick him. Sure. Zhao Feng laughed within his heart. Maybe a half-holy ranked martial art wasn't precious to third guard and Bei Moi as they were disciples of Lord Guanjuan. But it was to Zhao Feng. After he accepted, Zhao Feng immediately read the contents of Returning Breath Technique. Shwa, shwa, shwa. As Zhao Feng swiped through the pages, a faint green light appeared on his left eye. But no paid attention to it as the aura it released was the exact same as Zhao Feng's body. Tens of breaths later. Pa! Zhao Feng threw the book back onto the table and let out a breath. Test me. Let me do it. Surprise and suspiciousness rose in Bei Moi's eyes. So he took the book and picked a few places. Zhao Feng immediately responded without hesitation and answered all the questions perfectly. Hee, Brother Bei. You lost. Nan Gongfan couldn't explain the joy in his heart. It looks like Brother Bei loses at times as well. An expression of satisfaction appeared on third guard's face as Zhao Feng was in the Sky Guards battalion after all, which was under his control. But the one who was the most happy was actually Zhao Feng. Without using any energy at all, he had gotten 2 half-holy ranked martial arts. Where else could he find stuff like this? Only Bei Moi had a grim face on. After all, he was only a youth of 15 to 16 years old, and he had never received criticism before. Zhao Feng even saw the cold light in his eyes. It was obvious that Zhao Feng left a mark in Bei Moi's heart. Is it worth it to offend a super genius for 2 half-holy ranked martial arts? Zhao Feng thought deeply. To lose is to gain, everything had a price. Memory doesn't mean you can gain insights. I'm leaving. Bei Moi stood up and left by himself. Nan Gongfan and third guard exchanged glances. They were happy to see Bei Moi lose. Zhao Feng then got up and returned back to his wooden room. Closing his eyes, returning breath technique and smoking transparent steps surfaced in his mind. A smile appeared on his face as he looked at the two skills. This was his first time touching a half-holy ranked martial art. He first looked at returning breath technique, which was an inner strength skill. The more profound an inner strength skill was, the more complex it was to learn and train, and it was dangerous as the slightest mistake could result in disaster. But for Zhao Feng it was far easier because of his left eye. At this moment, he opened the ability of his left eye and a weird hot feeling spread throughout his body. Zhao Feng could see the blood flow and inner strength in his body. This power was similar to the legendary inner sight, which could only be achieved at the peak 9th rank. But his sight was even clearer. In just a few hours, Zhao Feng had entered the beginning stages of returning breath technique. Even Bei Moi would be shocked if he saw this. Returning breath technique condenses the inner strength of the highest quality to form a stronger one. This skill allows one to store more inner strength than normal. This inner strength skill is so strong, Zhao Feng felt his voice tremble slightly. Returning breath's advantage was that under the condensation of inner strength, another inner strength of higher quality and lower quantity was formed, therefore one could store more. Half a day later, Zhao Feng had condensed a small bubble of returning air inner strength, and the power of it easily exceed his air-crossing breathing technique. The most shocking part was that the returning breath inner strength could dissolve the inner strength of others. Zhao Feng's original inner strength from air-crossing breathing technique was slowly being devoured and changed. As time passed, the returning breath inner strength became stronger as well. One day and night later, all of Zhao Feng's original inner strength had been changed to returning breath inner strength. The new inner strength formed a layer of green so fast that Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. My returning breath inner strength absorbs other inner strength and converts it to my own. Therefore, the attributes of it are the same as before. Zhao Feng found this point and he was extremely excited. This way, his returning breath inner strength could be used with his lightly floating fairy, and although the effect may only be 80 to 90% of before, it had greater quantity and quality. After returning breath technique had been started, Zhao Feng found that his inner strength was stronger than Leizong's by at least 1/2. And this was him only just starting to learn it. Next, he started to learn his smoking transparent step outside. This half-holy ranked martial art was extremely similar to his lightly micro step. Smoking transparent step, as light as smoke. When trained to the low level, one could move around without being heard. Because his lightly micro step had reached the max level, it was easy to enter the beginning stages of smoking transparent step. But if Zhao Feng wanted to reach the low level, it would be hard. Zhao Feng trained hardcore for several days, but he still couldn't reach the low level. At the point of difficulty, he saw the flowing wind stance in his eye. Flowing wind stance was a support holy martial art, and when he used smoking transparent step with it, he seemed to gain new insights. Half a minute later, Zhao Feng opened his eyes. He trained smoking transparent step once again, and he found that he had reached the low level. After reaching the low level, it increased by leaps and bounds and slowed down as it got closer to the high level. At this time, Zhao Feng had gained insights into flowing wind stance as well. It's about time. Zhao Feng stopped training his skills. Up to now, he had a few major skills: holy ranked martial art silver wall technique, half-holy ranked martial arts, returning breath technique, smoking transparent step, lightly floating fairy, peak-ranked martial art, star finger power not any weaker than half-holy ranked martial arts. Apart from these, he also had Archer God's left eye, whose rank was unknown. Zhao Feng didn't even know how strong he was now. If we return back to Sun Feather City now, there'll be no one my match. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. Obviously, he didn't want to return back to Sun Feather City now. In this province city, there were many geniuses of the same generation that were on par with him, if not stronger. That Bei Moi was already at the peak 8th rank, and he could already kill cultivators of the 9th rank. Staying here, Zhao Feng felt competition and pressure which ignited his potential. Learning the few skills, Zhao Feng exited his room and he found that there was more changes in the 10 Sky Guards. I heard that Lord Guanjuan's coming out in a few days' time, so everyone is trying to become one of the 10 Sky Guards. Speaking up to here, Huang Qi was slightly depressed. There was just too many geniuses in the Sky Guards battalion, and under the competition, the youth's cultivation increased by leaps and bounds. Huang Qi was the top genius within Pearl Tree City, but he couldn't even make it into the 10 Sky Guards after coming here. I barely managed to reach 9th Wooden Room 2 days ago, but I was immediately challenged and lost. Huang Qi said bitterly. The rankings of the 10 Sky Guards moved significantly these few days, apart from 3 people. These 3 were Feng Hanyue, Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng. Although Zhao Feng was 10th, his true strength was at least top 3, so no one dared to challenge him, which meant that number 9 was the major target. On this day, 3rd Guard assembled the youths and announced, Lord Guanjuan has come out of secluded meditation, and he will be arriving here personally in 3 days' time.